Happy Monday, degenerates. Welcome on back to the Die Hard MMA podcast. Your host, as always, as ever, every week on the dot. We have got your boy, Clint, sitting behind the camera, talking fights, baby. It's UFC Vegas 111, and I couldn't be happier. Why? Because we're rocking the baby blues this week. Not only are we rocking the baby blues, but we deserved the gold money chain for this week. That's right. We're coming off of a win, a much needed victory, over 8 units of profit on UFC Vegas 110, an event that was marred by scandal, an event that had quick finishes, record amounts of submissions, everything you could possibly think of. And almost everybody I know had a rough night. There's a few people that squeezed out a little bit of a win. Those people are thanking their lucky stars. Frankly, if you went home down just a little bit last week, you're probably feeling pretty good about yourself, but not us. We're walking out with a big dub this week. And I got to tell you guys, that is all thanks to the sponsors, because as you guys know, I am a bookie-sponsored infiltrator industry plant, and I went to them last week, and I begged them. I was like, you guys, I know the plan is for me to get out there and make everybody lose money as much as humanly possible so you can line your pockets, but I'm losing the narrative here. People are losing faith. We're just not going to be able to keep butts in seats. You got to let me have one. They gave me the A-OK. So this past week, we took our shot. No, so actually, you guys, when it comes to the wins and losses last week, this thing all came down to the round robin submission special parlay. I took some advice. A lot of people have been telling me with the props to try round robining rather than just going for straight like 3 and 4 leg parlays, because I usually end up hitting some of these long shot props, just not all of them together. So I picked my 5 favorite sub props, some of them a little crazy, some of them not so crazy. And thank God Charles Radke decided to stick with the game plan and go back to the ground game. We did hit a round robin 3-legger parlay. And of course, since we round robin it, what I like to do 2 legs and 3 legs. Obviously, it's more investment, it's more expensive, but because we're round robining the 2 legs as well, since we hit 3 of them, we got 6 2-legger 3 round robin 2-legger parlays that hit as well. So it ended up being a damn good night, but only because of the crazy long shots, and only because we got a live bet on Jeremiah Wells at plus 250 once we saw Themba Gorimbo fading. I hope you guys saw that notification, and I hope some of you jumped in, because you could see Themba absolutely collapsing mid-fight. And we jumped in, we took a chance, we made him pay. It was a good day. Let's get into it. What is up, chat? My guy, Dixon. Wait a second. They about to go pluck Isaac Dulgarian from the McDonald's deep fryers, and they're taking him straight to jail. Yeah, man. And we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. The whole Isaac Dulgarian thing is absolutely insane. We might have like a little bit longer of like an intro this week because of everything going on. Dream, what is up, my man? Mohammed with maybe the best line of the day. Never bet on anybody associated with James Krause. We thought that he was done. We thought that he was gone. His shadow is still hanging over the top of us just a little bit. George Ray Pro, what is going on, buddy? I almost wore it. I almost went back to it for my Halloween costume this year. I felt like it might have been a little lame to have the same one back-to-back years, but yeah, no, we'll definitely bring that back around for sure. Grateful to JB Kurtz, my man Dan from Half the Battle. Barry Long, our very own billionaire investor. What's going on, buddy? TH, we got Handicap UMC, Ethan Hershey. What is up, buddy? D in the house, my man, Louis Mack Jr., Ray Norman, VB MMA picks, one of the sharpest in the game. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. Yeah, guys, insane week. Absolutely insane week. So I feel blessed to be coming to you here today with a little bit of extra kick in my step, a little bit extra jingle in my pocket. It feels good to be on the winning side of things for last week. Real quick here, it looks like we got some technical issues with our guest this week, so I will filibuster for just a moment. What the hell happened last week, you guys? No, seriously, though. So I thought we weren't going to get our first sub of the night. Talita Alencar looked like she was failing against Ariana Carlosi. Carlosi. Sorry about that. My tongue got a little caught up there. She looks like she's completely floundering going into round 2. And then she drops her. Like, Alencar, my girl. She smoked her on the feet. Big power shot, knocks her to the mat. It was like, oh, that's everything I needed to know. But I didn't think we were going to get the sub. I thought she was going to grind her way to a decision. She sold out for that bad boy with 30 seconds left on the clock. Frankly, you guys, the subs this week, like, I wouldn't have been surprised the way things played out. Normally how things play out, we should have hit 0. We should have hit 0 of these because Alencar almost had it in round 1. Whenever that happens and they really go for it and they don't get it, they don't get it. I'm sorry, was it round 2? I think it was at the end of round 2 where she had it under the neck. It was sunk in. We needed 5 seconds basically for her to get the finish. And when that happens, they usually go into save the gas tank mode, right? So I didn't think we were getting that one. We got that one. It was almost the exact same thing when it came to the second prop on the board, which was the Alan Nascimento prop. That one was just a matter of time. No disrespect, Dan. I know Cody's your guy. We knew that one was coming in our bones. At some point, somebody was going to slow down. We'd scramble and get that sub. So thank God for that one. But the Charles Radke one, same exact thing. 4 minutes and 29 seconds, you guys. 30 seconds left on the clock. And he failed for the sub. And again, just at the bell, at the buzzer in round 1. I thought he was going to tire out. I didn't think he was going to stick to it. I didn't think he was going to sell out for it. He did. Thank God we got there. And you know what? I'm done filibustering. Okay. We got our guest. We can get into the shit. We can get into the good stuff. You guys, we're bringing one of the sharps to you here this week. None other than our guy, Dravi. What's going on, buddy? How you doing today?
Hey, what's up, Clinton? Thanks for having me on after this crazy week we just had. So, yeah, I'm excited to talk about this next week card. And hopefully we're not going to have any shit going on this week because, it was not great for the sport, man. I mean, bets aside, because I know I lost some money on that bullshit, but a lot of people did. But outside of that, just for the sports that we love, we don't want to see those type of shits happening, So I hope that after that, things will go back to normal and we're going to have some good fights this weekend. It's a Apex card, but yeah, I think there's some decent matchups. So yeah, there's some good betting angles we're going to discuss, I'm sure.
I am looking forward to talking about this card with you, my guy. And I'm right there with you 100%. I do not want to see any more of these shenanigans going on in our sport. 2025 has been one of the most insane years of my life, just like in every aspect of it. I don't know what's in the water, but it seems like we're all collectively losing our minds at a very rapid pace. And MMA, it's always been the craziest part of it, right? Like there's never a sport that's more insane than MMA. So it's keeping pace with all this stuff going on, man. What the whole Isaac Dulgarian thing. First off, I'm sad because he was an incredible prospect, somebody that we had insanely high hopes for. And this was supposed to really be his coming out party here. So for him to throw all of that away, which I know nothing. I don't have any contacts. I don't know anybody. I have no information. I got to wonder if somebody had like a hit out on his family or something. Like, you know what I mean? Why would you throw away a promising UFC career for like a one-shot payout? Unless he's on a plane right now to Abu Dhabi with just loads of money, a couple of bags. Like, he threw away his whole career on Saturday. For those of you who may not be up to speed, I don't know how you would have missed it, but last week, Isaac Dulgarian comes in as a favorite. We actually had him in a 2-legger parlay. You guys know, had him in a 2-leg parlay. and the round 1 prop for Yadir Duval crashed. It was very, very reminiscent of the whole James Krause situation from 2-3 years ago. Everybody on Twitter was bugging out because all of a sudden we're trending towards a pick'em line, money just flying in on Yadir. I tweeted something about it. I hope you guys saw that because I got out there and went, hey, I've seen this ship before. We are not going down with the ship. I am putting money on Yadir. I don't know what's happening. I don't care. I tailed the steam, so we ended up getting out of that spot and making a little bit of a profit on that because I dumped basically on Yadir before it all went down. But round 1 starts. Isaac Bulgarian shoots a takedown, one of the weakest takedown attempts. We know this guy is a takedown monster, one of the best wrestlers in the division. So it really felt like he was trying to sell that he wasn't able to get that takedown, and his back was taken immediately. We've seen him win those scrambles before, so we know that also very questionable. And the next thing, you got him in a rear naked choke. He fights it for a second, and it's over. So big round 1 finish for Yadir. The UFC immediately looks into it, and today they released him. So not only was there smoke, but there appears to have been fire as well. Bookies reporting that there were odd betting patterns and things like that coming in from unverified sources, all coming in on this underdog and all coming in on the underdog in round 1. So massive, massive conspiracy type of situation. Isaac Bulgarian cut from the UFC. And man, the only thing I want to ask is who's looking into David Onama for me? Because they came from the same camp, man. They both have that James Krause history, and nobody's talking about this. I'm gonna hijack this thing real quick. Do we not did nobody else watch the fight with Steve Garcia? Because it was the exact same damn situation. Like maybe the money didn't move the same way, maybe there wasn't the betting pattern the same way. But bro, Onama threw like 2 punches. He didn't do jack shit in that fight. He was not answering back. He didn't shoot for takedowns. He basically was on his bike for round 1 until he got caught and put down. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. Dravi, what did you make of the whole situation with Isaac? Did you have any thoughts? Like we're all kind of like sussed out about this whole thing now. What's running through your head about it?
Yeah, so first of all, I mean, the thing with being a tipster like I am, I'm running a service. So I put 3 units on Bulgarian minus 190. And, most of the guys, they can cash out and they don't normally have the option to edge because, the line got smoked so fast. And then I just had to keep my money where it is, for just transparency. So I had $3,000 on the guy, and I'm watching that. I'm like, yeah, there's nothing I can do anymore because the line is minus 130 right away almost, right? So I was like, at first I was like, maybe it's nothing. We don't really know. But then the line keep going. And then when I saw the round 1 prop, I was like, yeah. Because you cannot tape the fight and know both guys and tell me you're gonna bet round 1 prop and for a lot of money, and that makes sense. It's just there's no way you can convince me that betting the Vi round 1 made sense. The guy is a monster in round 1. He's never lost a round 1 in his entire career. He's a monster. So man, that shit was...
It's backwards.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, if he ended up losing, I don't know, a close decision or whatever it is, then, maybe it's not a fix. But the way he lost and the way he got submitted, Devade is not even a rear naked choke guy, man. I mean, at the end, the way he had the choke, I've been doing jiu-jitsu for like 4 or 5 months, Clint, and I would have been able to escape that submission. It's like, man, you cannot... And I know how good this guy is. So like it just doesn't make sense. And I'm normally not one of those guys that's gonna be like, oh, fixed fight and shit like that. But this one was clearly not right. Something was off, right? We all knew it, but at the end of the day, he got caught. He lost his career. He lost his job. And like you said, he's a fucking good fighter, man. Like he has top 10, top 15 ceiling, and he just blew it. So man, I remember when he was coming up, I bet him as an underdog in his UFC debut against Francis Marshall, right? He was talking about like he's living in a VR, he's like living outside the gym, and he doesn't have a lot of money and stuff like that, and he's just grinding. And I'm like, yeah, that guy's going to be good. And then you do that. We don't really know how much money he made, but maybe he made 500K or something, and then he's good for life, and you don't need, not for life, but you know what I mean? He's good for a long time, and he doesn't need to work. I hope that's something like that, and I hope for him. No, I don't hope. I hope that he's in fucking prison.
We wish him the best.
Yeah, you know what I mean. It's like if he did that, for his career and everything. Like, I hope that at least he made a bag.
It better have at least been worth it, right?
But then maybe he's not. Maybe he's gonna have like trouble issues after. I don't know how it's gonna go. But do you know how that Derek Minner fight end up? Like, we didn't really hear the final results. Like, yeah, I know he got caught.
James Krause is out doing he's doing like public speaking and shit like that. He's giving seminars on investing, which can you believe it? Like the guy who gets busted for fixing UFC fights literally is just hopping over to being like a long-term investor and creating a portfolio, giving speeches on this kind of shit, because that's the world we live in today, man. I don't know how he gets away with that kind of thing, but we never got final.
As far as Onama goes, personally, I don't think it was a fix or anything. I just think that's what Steve Garcia does to people. Like in round 1, when that guy, and by the way, Steve Garcia looked good, the way he was moving his head and everything. Like, I mean, Onama could have grappled, but I didn't think he's mostly a striker, right? So I just feel like he didn't have answers at first, and he was just slow to. It's 5 rounds at the end of the day, so he was trying to get his flow, but you can't let Steve Garcia hit you, man, because he's going to finish you. So I just thought that was a very impressive performance by Steve Garcia. The dude is legit, man. He's made a lot of improvements. He's super dangerous.
So I will give you that. I'm not going to take anything away from Steve Garcia. He looked absolutely incredible. He looked like a man possessed the other night. But, that's one of those ones where, like you said, you're a tipster. I'm a podcaster. We do this shit every single week. We're watching these fights. We're tuning in. We're watching the tape. And if you are David Onama's coaches, how do you not know that Steve Garcia is going to be hell on wheels in round 1? Like, we know this. Your plan should not have been to sit back and get hit for 7 minutes and hope he slows down. That's not going to work. So best case scenario, it was a really bad game plan. Worst case scenario, he might have been in on something and just made it look a little bit more convincing. Who knows? But man, I'm ready to get after this thing. My guy Dan from Half the Battle says Vince Morales said on Twitter he was offered $70K to throw a fight, turned it down, lost anyways. Whoa, that's yeah, man, that's a double whammy.
You know what, Clint? Actually, like Vince Morales or Derek Minner or these guys, like, I mean, they're journeymen at the end of the day, with all due respect, right? Yep. But I mean, Bulgarian is just like he's 29 and he could be really something in the sport. So if you do that, it's because you're ready to just, if you get caught, it's over. Like Minner, you don't really care if it's over for him, But I mean,
Minner had a career-ending injury. He was a veteran who's fought his entire life out.
Exactly.
Like, he got one last bag on the way out the door. I'm not saying that's right, but I understand why he took it. Someone like this though is just, it's horrible. Absolutely horrible to have somebody like this take a deal like that, ruin their career, ship it all down the river. And the worst part about all of this, you guys, is that we are back this week to talk about going right back to the well. Fights are being fixed in the UFC, and we are here to bet on them. I've always said it. Gamblers are masochists, and MMA gamblers are of the highest caliber. So let's get into this card. First and foremost, shout out cloudbet.com for sponsoring the show. You guys, please make sure you're using the link in the description below. Get signed up at cloudbet.com. Up to $2,500 when you use promo code DieHardMMA to get signed up for your first deposit. And we are going to kick the night off with probably a fight that, if anyone was going to take a bribe on this card, it would be one of these guys. Rob Valentin takes on Jackson McVey. You guys know I've got a soft spot in my heart for Robert Valentin. The fight name, Robzilla, that just hits me right in the good stuff. Absolutely love it. The Kratos wannabe tattoos all over the place. Like, this guy wants to be a Viking warlord. I love it. I'm all about it. But he gets to the UFC off of The Ultimate Fighter, and he hasn't won since. They just sacrificed him to Atemba Garembo, and they let him die against Torres Finney, which he put up a damn good fight in that one, but they gave the split decision the other way. He's officially a resume builder, man. He's not bad. He's a quick starter. He wants to go out there and take people down. It looks like he's got a pretty good grappling game. He takes people's backs. Like, he just can't quite finish at this level, it doesn't seem like. It's crazy because on the regional scene, on The Ultimate Fighter, like, he's taking people out of there left and right in round 1. At the UFC level, it's like people are just wise to his shit. He can't quite get it done at this level. And then he falls apart. So if he's not getting it done in round 1, he's probably not getting it done. Now, Jackson McVey also has shortlist one of the best names pound for pound in the UFC. He is the Moose. So the Moose is on the loose on Saturday, man. 26 years old. This kid came into the UFC, no Ultimate Fighter, no contender series. He makes his debut against Bruno Ferreira, and he gets armbarred in the very first round of the fight. Big underdog in that spot. And now he gets his, his true debut at this point. You know what I mean? His true debut turning around. I actually think I took a sprinkle on him that night. I'm not the biggest fan of Bruno Ferreira. I think he's kind of a meme junkie type of fighter. I don't think he's real. So I think I might have taken a flyer on him, but yeah, that didn't turn out so well. I'm not entirely sure what he is at this point. He is another round one machine. He just comes in life or death, and he's been submitted twice in the first round. Both those subs coming by way of armbar. So that does seem to be kind of a problem for him. Dude, am I insane to think that round one Rob Valentin's sub is just kind of the way to go here? Both these guys are not necessarily UFC caliber. I'm not sure what we really have in either of them. Rob may have lost 3 fights in a row, but he's been getting at least rounds at the UFC level. I know he's going to start fast. I know he's going to hunt a submission. I don't want to lay chalk on him, but I kind of feel like he locks up an arm against Jackson McVey. Man, what do you make of this fight? What do you make of either of these guys? And do you have any kind of a play you like on this first fight of the night?
Yeah, so sometimes when we have these, lower level fight, I think that's where we can have a big hedge, just because people are low on these guys, and sometimes you can find something that the market might not know about, or a buy a low spot situation and stuff like that. And in this fight, personally, I think there's value on Valentin at the price, just because he's way more proven at the end of the day. I'm watching McVey career on the regional, and it's like, I mean, nothing that he does really impressed me. I can say he's big for the weight class, and he's good in the clinch, right? That's pretty much it. And then he seems to have some tricky submission, but some of those submission that he had, I'm like, yeah, that's not going to work. Like, that's not going to work against someone that know how to grapple a little bit. And Valentin, the problem that he has is his takedown defense is not good, and he has a cardio issues, right? So that's 2 things. And he's pretty hittable. He can be hurt sometimes. But here I'm looking into this fight, and McVey can be hurt himself, and he has bad striking defense himself, but all of his fights are round 1 finishes, win or lose, right? So he's not proven outside of round 1. And even though Valentin is not the cardio machine or anything like that, at the end of the day, he won a couple fights that went past the first round. He has 3 round 2 finishes, and he has 1 decision win. And some of his competition outside the UFC was decent, better than McVey, right? And he did the tough, where he had 2 finishes, where, again, it's better competition and better level than this other dude. And then in the UFC, of course, you're going to get knocked out by Atiba Gauthier, who's super good and very dangerous, right? And yeah, he got wrestled against Torres Finney, but I just think it was a terrible stylistic matchup for him. The Ryan Loader fight, I don't think it was the best look, honestly. That's the fight where I'm like, yeah, good wrestler, but still not really a dangerous guy. So the fact that he got finished and kind of gas out, not a good look. But outside of that, I mean, that's a step down in competition that he has here against a guy. I just think it's not very good. Not to say he's a bum, but he might be, he might be, but we're going to find out soon, I guess. But in this fight, I just think Valentin has the tools to either hurt him on the feet, or I think that his submission is better. I think his grappling is better. So if he end up on top, like you said, I think he can submit this dude on the feet. I think he can hurt him. McVey, he got hit with 1 big leg kick against Bruno Ferreira, and then it looked like he was done. That was kind of crazy, right? So I don't think he deal well with leg kicks. I don't know what he's going to look like after round 1. I don't think his submission defense is good. The way he got submitted against Bruno Ferreira, right? Yeah, Bruno is a good fighter, but you're not supposed to get Billy down on bar and men's MMA at this weight class, and it happened to him also in amateur against Wells Struve back in the day. So I just think his submission defense is questionable. I think his cardio is questionable, and I don't think his skill set is good. So Valentin, at least he's dangerous. He has some nasty elbows, and I think his submission game is better. So I think the line should be wider here, Clint. I think there's value on Valentin, even though it can be a little bit ugly. If you don't want to take a side, I think the under 1.5 can be a decent play, just because you cover, I think, a lot of the guys both of these guys upside in the fight, which is probably an early finish. If he doesn't, if there's not an early finish, then it's probably going to end up being a weird fight somehow. But honestly, I still think Valentin is going to win if it goes deep, just because he's more proven. So yeah, I think he's going to win, and probably by finish. Ali's going to do it. I lean submission, but I'm not too confident because I wouldn't be surprised if you knock him out.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to hear I'm not absolutely insane, because I feel like this is finally my boy's spot, right? Like, I'm hoping he gets his first UFC win here. I'm hoping he saves his job. I like the guy's vibe. I think he's the right kind of crazy for me to get behind and for me to have some fun. So I hope he sticks around in the UFC. I want to see him get a win, but more importantly, I want to see what the numbers look like on the sub prop, because that's probably what I'll be taking a shot at on Saturday. All right, everybody.
They open it on Bet Online, Clint, but it's low limit, so we're gonna have to wait for other books to have like a real price. But I can tell you what it is. I think it was like 2-1. Yeah, it's plus 215 on Bet Online, so you're probably gonna get like plus 250, plus 275 elsewhere.
Okay. Well, I mean, hey. Yeah, for a guy who I think is going to win, who I think that's his best method of victory, and who's coming up to being like a 2-1 favorite, I don't mind taking the shot. You're flipping that minus 200 to a plus 200. That sounds okay to me. So we'll see. That's probably where I end up on this one. All right, guys, we got over 250 of you live in here already. Do me a favor, share the show, hit the like button if you haven't. If you guys don't know Dravi, he's been absolutely smashing 2025. While I'm leaking money out of my pockets, he's just walking behind me, picking every single dollar up off the street. So if you guys want somebody, make sure you check him out. Let's get into this next fight here. Miles, Chapo, Johns, Texan, Daniel, Marcos in the battle of mid, man. Like this is one of those fights that I'm gonna struggle with just a little bit here, because I've got some built-in pre-existing biases. You guys know how I feel about Miles Johns. 15-4, 31 years old. He's a Fortis MMA guy. I'm not sure if he's still there actually anymore. But he's on a 2-fight losing streak right now. Split to Gene Matsumoto, lost the decision to Felipe Lima. Decent level of competition. Some people that we're really excited about for sure. He always goes out there and puts on a tough performance. It's pretty crazy, man. This is kind of the poster child, in my opinion, for when the UFC dumped USADA, because you could see this man dying in the cage halfway through round 2, every single fight. Every single fight, you could see this man gassing right in front of your very eyes. And a couple times he got finished. A couple times he hung on for dear life. And I was like, I'm going to get him. I'm going to get him. Like, I just knew I was going to print money fading this man. And then one day those cardio issues just kind of stopped being a problem. And then one day he started finishing people in round 3 that I'm like, hold up. What just happened? That's not what's supposed to be going on here. So he's got some really good supplements. And you guys know I've completely changed my stance. If the UFC is not going to force these people to fight clean, I'm not going to bitch about these people taking performance enhancing drugs. So we actually cashed a couple tickets on Miles Johns recently. So we've turned our opinion around just a little bit. But I'm kind of back to wanting to fade him just a bit. He does what he does. He's aggressive striking. He's got decent pop in his hands, but it's not like power pop in his hands. He usually finishes people deep in fights now. If he can wear them out with the wrestling, then he can take them out. But he's beating people that are relatively low level. He's fighting tough with guys who are a good level of competition. I mean, his wins, Cody Gibson, Douglas Silva, Deandrade, a couple guys that are old and near retirement. Vince Morales, whom I love dearly, but is, let's face it, a journeyman who's in his second UFC stint, barely holding on to a roster spot. Those are the guys he's beating, right? John Castaneda, Mario Bautista, Felipe Lima. These are the guys that he's losing to. So I'm pretty sure we know the level that Miles Johns is. This all comes down to, what do you think of Daniel Marcos? 17-1, 32 years old. He is coming off a loss to Montel Jackson. Finally a loss for this guy who was being heralded as something huge. We knew the side on that one, you guys. We knew the side on that one, because you get the 17-0 undefeated guy, and he comes in as like a plus 175 underdog. The bookies were telling us exactly what was going on in that spot. We knew. But I love Daniel Marcos' style, man. He's measured. He keeps a good pace. He pumps a good jab. he also has kind of stinging power, but he never really overcommits to anything. So he ends up in some close decisions sometimes. You know, the Adrian Yanez fight was close. The Davy Grant fight was close. But he can bust you up a little bit. He can put some damage on your face. He can wrestle a little bit. He's not amazing. So I think he's going to be one of these guys who does just enough to win the fight. And as gamblers, I feel like that's insurance, right? Like you want the guys who are going to do what it takes to win. You want the guys who know how to get their hand raised on the judges' scorecards. I think this is going to be Miles Johns round 1, Daniel Marcos round 3, and then it all comes down to what happens in round 2. And I personally think that Daniel Marcos is going to land the cleaner, harder shots. I think this is going to be a damage versus control situation where you're going to get Miles Johns looking for the takedowns, looking to grapple, and then we're just going to have the much cleaner striker here. So I'm gonna eat some chalk here, man. I kind of like Daniel Marcos. It's probably a decision win, but I also wouldn't be shocked if he comes out here pissed off and I sprinkle that round 3 again.
Yeah, so it's a good fight, honestly. I'm kind of surprised it's the second fight of the card. Like, I mean, both of these guys have a couple wins in the UFC, and I mean, like you said, Marcos before his last fight, he had some hype on him, you know. So yeah, I think it's a good fight. It's kind of a hard fight for me to call in a certain way because you've mentioned John's cardio issues and him looking, you know, gas in fights and stuff like that, which I agree with you. But at the same time, I think the same thing can be said for Marcos at time. Like he slowed down in some of these fights in round 3, right? Like Castaneda, he had some bad moments in round 3. Dana White Contender Series, I don't know if you recall, but he had some sketchy moment around at the end of round 2. That's where he kind of slowed down, and then early round 3 is fine, and end of round 3, that's where he struggled a little bit. And in fact, he doesn't have any round 3 finishes, Marcos. But then Miles John is just he's slowing down, but he's still pushing through it pretty well. Because remember, before his last loss, which was a close fight, he was 9-1 to the decision. So he's a guy that's really good at winning minutes because he's winning minute, but he has some big moments on the feet and he's good defensively. So sometimes it could be an issue for a lot of guys. But here, looking into this fight, I think Marcos is the better fighter. I think that his takedown defense is good enough to defend John's takedown, and he's probably a better striker with more tools and is going to lend more volume. So because of that, I'm going to have to lean his way. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's a close fight. I think it go the distance either way. I don't really see a finish. But yeah, maybe Marcos by decision. It's plus 100 right now, so maybe we're gonna get a little bit better on commercial. I think that could be a decent way to play it because Miles Johns at the end of the day, Felipe Lima and Matsumoto didn't finish him. I think both of these guys are arguably better finisher than Marcos, honestly, because Matsumoto, he has that nasty front choke, and Felipe Lima can submit you, he can TKO you if you slow down. And Marcos, I think he only has one finish in the UFC in 5 fights, right? Yeah, he has the fight against that bum, I don't remember. Yeah, Simon Oliveira. And yeah, I had him against Aru Kilang, and then the no contest, he was starting to piece him up pretty bad. But yeah, Marcos is a good fighter, honestly. I was surprised that he came in. I bet Jackson had picked him last time out against him, and I was surprised he was using a lot of wrestling like that. That was very surprising to me. But yeah, I think he's a better fighter here. He should get it done. But we never know how undefeated fighter come back after a loss. So yeah, kind of interesting to see how it's going to play out this fight. I like it.
It's an interesting spot for sure. I'm glad we're kind of lining up on Marcos. We both think it's probably going the distance. That one seems, I don't know, not simple, but pretty straightforward here to me. We'll see what happens. Next up, you guys, we have got Tecia Pennington taking on Denise Gomes, and the hottest betting trend in MMA history is back in full force this week, you guys. We have the Brazilian lesbian with the neck tattoo fighting this week. Gomes, the arbiter, the instigator of the betting angle herself. You know better than to bet against one of these women. Now, we need her to be an underdog. That's where the angle truly lies. We need that money. And she is a slight favorite coming in here into this spot. You guys know I'm a big fan of the Penningtons, and Tecia has been nothing but a workhorse. 36 years old, the tiny tornado. She has incredible pace, incredible durability. She's a very good grappler. She's very physically strong, but dang, man, she's just so limited by her stature. I hate to say that, but really there is a glass ceiling for Tecia Pennington, and it's because she doesn't have the kind of power you need to sway the fight. She doesn't have the kind of offensive jiu-jitsu you need to finish the fight. So she relies on wrestling and control, and then it's a volume game punching, and she just doesn't win those big wow moments. So anytime she gets a step up in competition, it ends up being close, man. She went on this run of monsters a couple of years ago. Jessica Andrade in her prime, Joanna in her prime, Wiley Zhang in her prime, Marina Rodriguez before she fell apart and sucked. So like she gave everyone a fight. Like that's the thing. She will always be in the fight. Recently, she's on a 2-fight win streak, but it could be like a 7-fight win streak, man. She lost split decisions to Tabitha Ricci and Mackenzie Dern. Dern, who has the belt now. I thought you could make an argument for Tecia to win that fight, you guys. Like, I really thought it was that close. So she is fighting at an incredibly high level still at this point. Denise Gomes, D, 11-3. And she is kind of a young version of Jessica Andrade, in my opinion. She is 25 years old, and I believe she is actually still training with Jessica Andrade, if memory serves correctly here. So she is learning from somebody who has exactly the right style for her as far as her body makeup and her physical tools and things like that. This girl can wrestle. She's getting better. That's something she needs to improve upon, obviously. But she is getting better at it. She is a BJJ black belt, I believe. She's got big, heavy power in her hands, man. She slings wild. When she comes into the pocket, she's throwing overhands. She's got bombs. The way she put Elise Reed out, I was impressed. I couldn't believe Carolina survived that fight. We had a lot on her to win by knockout against Carolina. We got it the next time, so it's okay. We got there eventually. But I was a little impressed that Carolina survived that. So she's really kind of coming into her own, man. At 25 years old, I feel like this is a bit of a an older fighter looking into a bit of a mirror, right? Like Denise Gomes is similar to Tecia. She's on her way up as opposed to Tecia, who may be plateauing, maybe a little bit on her way down. So I understand you got to favor Denise Gomes in this spot just a little bit with all of those kinds of things. And frankly, I can't argue against it because I do think when they crash, Gomes will have the bigger moments. The crowd will ooh and ah when she lands the right hand. I just can't bet against Tecia in this ballpark because I know the kind of pace she's going to put on. I know the kind of pressure she's going to put on. This has split decision written all over it in my mind. And, you know, shout out my guy Tim Troiano in the chat. I want to remind everybody that it's officially No Nut November. So you cannot use your lotion on this fight, Tim. You stay away from this one, my friend. Dravi, what do you make of this fight, man? I'm going to lean ever so slightly to Denise Gomes. I'm going to lean split decision for Denise Gomes. We'll get old Sal D'Amato in there to make sure the young fighter with the upside is the one who gets her hand raised. But I think it's going to be close.
I'm sure Tim's going to like that fight end by a split at 4-1. I'm sure he's going to like that. Yeah, I mean, I could see this one being close. At the end of the day, it's more so, you know, career trajectory, age, you know, and Pennington, she had a kid, and she's been fighting close all of her career. So just the margin's always been close. So in one sense, it's good when you back her as an underdog because, you know, she's going to fight close. She's never been finished. And Gomes, that's kind of the thing. Like you said, I mean, I used to bet that girl as a big underdog and I was loving it. But now it's like as a favorite, it's kind of more tricky because if she doesn't get those big moments you've mentioned, she tends to fight close sometimes herself. And she doesn't have the best fight IQ. I think she's dating Kara Rosa, if I remember correctly. I think they're training together.
Yep.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, you can see that she's
Power
working hard and stuff like that. And she's only 25 years old, man. Like 25 years old. So we're gonna see improvements from fight to fight, and then we're gonna see decrease in Pennington game overall as the fight goes because she's probably closer to retirement by the time we're talking. So, do you think Gomes is live to finish her? That's kind of the thing I'm not too sure about because,
dude, I never want to doubt the Brazilian lesbian with the neck tattoo, but I don't because until I see it with my own two eyes, I'm not going to bet on anybody to finish Tecia Pennington. Like that's been the calling card of her entire career. Like there's not a single more durable fighter on the UFC roster. Like, she's more tough than Darren Elkins was, man. She's never been knocked out. She's never been submitted. She's still only 36. So, like, yeah, she's coming off having a baby, but she's bounced back from that more than most women have. She's looked fantastic in her last couple of fights. She's got over 20 professional MMA fights against some of the toughest, and I'm going to say this, guys, I mean this with all due respect. This is a term of endearment. Some of the toughest pitches we have ever seen, man. Like, she's taken big shots from Dern, from Hill, from Zhang, from Joanna, from Andrade. Like, she has eaten everything, and she continues to walk forward and ask for more. I am never betting on Tecia Torres to get finished in a fight.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, and she's never been dropped either. Tecia Torres is, she's durable. And Gomes, if she doesn't have those big moments, if she doesn't hurt you, she's on close margin herself. So it is dog or pass for me. I think the only bet I could make is probably, either parlaying the over. It's minus 350. It's kind of, it's okay.
Feels gross, but probably hits.
Yeah, it is, but it's like you said, I mean, Pennington is not finishing Gomes. I can tell you that, unless I'm going to say that now. It's going to pull a yoke or something. But, she should. I will be surprised if she finished her. But a couple guys mentioned the spread in the chat. I mean, yes, but it's minus 260. There's no way I can bet that. But at the same time, it tell you that it's like almost 75% that she win around. So if that's the way the book are thinking, and then that she's not going to get finished, why couldn't she win 2 at a 50 clip, So I do think it's dog or pass. I was hoping that maybe the decision prop could be a little bit better, but it's plus 185. They're not giving us anything, because sometimes when we have these type of fight, you're like really confident it's going to go the distance. It's going to be close. And then the underdog is, I don't know, plus 160, but the decision is plus 300. And you're like, yeah, if she wins, it's a decision. So it could be worth it. But at this point, it's probably not. But, Tecia by split is 9-1, though. I know Tim's going to like that. But, yeah, I think Gomes going to win. She's just too young, too powerful. I think she has more tools to win this fight, but I want to be betting her, though.
Dude, I completely agree with you. I am, as we're talking about this, like, I know I'm the guy with the Brazilian lesbian neck tattoo angle, and it's all fun and games and jokes, and legitimately we do use that, and she has been cashing tickets for us. She's been an incredible prospect, but seriously though, I'm like actually getting to the point where I'm like, oh my Lord, like this line is way too wide for a Tecia Pennington fight. Like, she's only 36. I'm looking at this and I keep thinking in my mind that she's like 38, 39 years old. We don't see the fall off in elite MMA for women until much later in life. Seriously, like, look at Carolina. She was 39 before she got knocked out again. We see these women hold firmly in these positions. Holly Holm didn't start getting beaten up until she was 41. Like, Tecia is someone who's been fighting the best of the best of the best her entire career, and fights closely even recently with the best of the best. And just look at her. Like, she is not anywhere close to falling off, physically speaking. This is going to be a close fight, you guys. Like, please be careful. This is going to be a close fight. I love the split decision call. Absolutely love the split decision call. And I could absolutely see Tecia getting 2 rounds to 1, giving kind of a veteran move, because we like to talk about how being the younger fighter and all that, it matters. It makes a difference. But usually, like, you got to kind of categorize it a little bit. Like, you think about men's MMA. The younger guy probably can take a punch a little better. The younger guy probably a little faster. The younger guy usually can hit maybe a little bit harder, right? Like, those are the attributes that make the younger guy far more attractive. In women's MMA, like, yes, Denise Gomes is going to hit a little harder. But if she's not finishing Tecia, then we got to look at the volume. Then we got to go look at the whole rest of the game. We got to look at the wrestling and the grappling, the well-roundedness. Like, it's not quite the advantage I would think it would be with the men's. I do probably think betting wise it's dog or pass in this situation. It's going to be close, you guys. Be careful on this one. This is your PSA for the week. Could go either way. We'll see who gets their hand raised. Betting perspective, as much as I want DC Gomes to win and for her to do well and really take off as a contender in her career, minus 185 ain't it for me on this one. All right, guys, next fight up. We got Josh Hokit taking on Max Gimenis. And I'll be completely honest with you guys, I did not get a minute to look up Max. So this is the one that kind of fell off the plate for me. Last night, my daughter talked me into taking her to the sing-along for K-pop Demon Hunters. So we went to the theater. This is the one that got knocked off the block because I didn't quite get to it. If you guys haven't seen K-pop Demon Hunters, first off, it's absolutely awesome. But it was a Netflix release, so it never even made it out to theaters. When she heard it was going to theaters, she was like, we've got to go. So it was like a sing-along in a crowded movie theater. It was actually really awesome. Josh Hokit, though, if you guys remember this guy, 6-0 undefeated, 27 years old. And he's basically what you would get if Hulk Hogan had a baby with Sean Strickland with a little dash of extra racism on top. Like that's Josh Hokit. So he's a complete meme, and he is tough. He can grapple. He does get on top of people and finish fights early and quickly. I don't know what he looks like in an extended fight. It looked like in his UFC debut, he fought an absolute bum. This Urel guy. And he was able to go ahead and get him down and get the finish in the second round. But it looked like he was starting to fade to me, man, if I remember correctly. It looked like he was having a bit of a tough time. Max Gimenis is coming in here 6-1, 32 years old. And again, I didn't get to run the tape. I didn't get to do anything on this one. He's another early finisher, but I do also see that it looks like he's gotten finished quite a few times himself. So, I don't have much to say on this one, unfortunately. I got to do a little bit of extra legwork. Dravi, do you have any opinion on this one? Can you tell me a little bit about Max? Because I didn't get to this one. So what do you got for me, man?
I'm sorry, Clint, but I didn't do this one either. So I don't know who he is. But you talk about Hokit, and he didn't make his debut yet. It was Dana White Contender Series, but I remember that fight as well. He was starting to slow down a little bit. It was not the best look. And I don't think he's all that good either, honestly. But I'm going to have to look into this other guy. I only just, I was looking at tapes, but I didn't watch the film. And it seems like there is not a lot of tapes on this dude, Max. But I didn't go deep into it. But yeah, it's not the type of fight I'm really interested to look into, honestly, because they're volatile, but also there's not a lot of infos a lot of the time. So it's kind of better to just watch it at the UFC level, see how it goes, and then after that, bet the next fight. It's probably better. But let's just call the -400 favorite that's gonna win.
Yeah, man. All I know about this guy is that he's a big time BJJ guy. He's a black belt. You look at all of his stuff. So it's going to be a ground fight. You know what I mean? They're setting it up so Josh can get takedowns. Max not going to complain about that. You'll have Josh working from top. You'll have Max working from bottom. That's what we're looking at here, you guys, is it's a grappling matchup. So I don't have a whole lot to say on this one. We'll do a little bit more research next time. The under 1.5 might be a half decent look on this one because someone's probably getting finished. Big sloppy heavyweights grappling. You kind of know how that goes. Josh is a massive favorite in this spot. So, you're going to have to kind of see how that goes. Heathcliff says that Hokit is a lock. So I'll take your word for it, buddy. Let's see what ends up happening. And tasteful thickness. I don't know who needs to hear this, but calling out racism for what it is does not make you a shit lib. We're not going to get into politics or anything like that here, but saying someone who says racist things is racist, that's not an insult. I don't know what you're trying to cook with there. But yeah, man, this ain't it. Like, people say stupid shit and we're allowed to call it for what it is. So hate to break it to you. Next fight up, Mayra Bueno Santos takes on Jacqueline Cavalcanti. Dravi, I kind of love this fight. You guys know I love my low-level grimy women's MMA. I get a little too deep in my women's MMA. For some reason, I always feel like there's more of an angle to be had because most people don't care. Like, they'll look at these and they'll move right on past it, and it is what it is, move on. I think some opportunities exist in women's MMA fights. Now, Mayra Bueno Silva, you rewind a year, and I was looking at futures props to take her as UFC champion. Right? We almost got there. She got her opportunity against Rocky Pennington, and I was this close, man. But she's fallen off a cliff since. Everyone kind of figured out her stick. She's a big-time submission artist. She is really dangerous on the mat. I mean, it is a floor is lava type of situation with Mayra Bueno. She can make people tap, and she can make people tap fast. On the feet, she's got some decent power too, man. She's pretty nasty when it comes to her offense. She reminds me, she's almost like a female Chito Vera, right? Like, you know what she's going to do. She's going to come forward. She's going to kick knee and elbow at you. And if you dare to grapple with her, she will take your neck home with her. But if you have a technical fight, if you make her fight long, she will not be able to get the offense off that she wants to. You've really got to engage her. So if you make her kickbox for 15 minutes, if you put her on her back, not many people are able to, but like Jasmine Jasudavicius wasn't worried about it too much. If you slow her down a bit, she doesn't have it for a full 15-minute fight. So rough scenes. The Macy Chiasson fight that got stopped due to a cut. You got to kind of tip the cap to Macy for landing the shot, but Mayra Bueno is incredibly durable. Most people don't ever hurt her, so weird for a TKO stoppage from her in that particular spot. Jacqueline Cavalcanti, 9-1, 28 years old, and one of our former anchors, you guys. So we've made our money on Jacqueline Cavalcanti. We absolutely have gone to war with her and done very well with her, but she's a decision machine. That's all she does. She pumps the jab. She keeps the distance. She wants to move out of range. She wants to keep the space, and she's very good at it. Now, the problem is we've seen twice now, 2 of her last 3 fights. Now, all 3 have gone to decision, but 2 of those, you guys, have gone to a split, and we were sweating bullets because the Nunes fight was the one where we had her anchored. Everything on the night was tied to Jacqueline, and it went to a split. First off, crazy. I couldn't believe it. Unreal that anybody thought that fight went any other way than Jacqueline. But that's the problem with her. Her fights are so close. She doesn't extend herself. She doesn't do enough damage. There's not a wow factor. She has to dominate every second of the fight. And if she doesn't, she looks like she's retreating. She looks like she's getting hit. She's a fighter that will roll with punches, and judges don't always see you as rolling with punches. Sometimes they just think you're getting cracked. So her fights end up being far closer than they potentially should be. And unless she starts pumping those rookie numbers up a little bit, unless she starts separating herself, I actually think she might get robbed a couple times, you guys. And this may end up being that spot for me, Drabi. I am extremely tempted because you've got Jacqueline Cavalcanti as a minus 250 favorite or higher, and you've got plus 200 or better on Mayra Bueno Silva. I see her as the harder hitter. I see her as the more aggressive fighter. In a 15-minute fight, we shouldn't have to worry too much about the cardio. I know that is a concern, but in a 15-minute fight, she should be able to hold it together here. And she's got the finishing upside. I'm tempted, man. I'm not going to lie. I'm tempted to go with Mayra Bueno for the upset here this weekend, Dravi. Talk to me, man. What are you thinking?
Yeah, it's kind of a hard fight to call in a way because, Bueno Silva, she's been going back and forth in weight class. I don't really like to see that. She's going back up now, which I think she's doing better at bantamweight, because remember against Jasmine it was at flyweight, right? And then she fought at flyweight before when she fought Manon, and then she went up to 135. She had her little run and she lost the belt, not the belt, but the title fight. And she had the cut stoppage against Macy, and then she decided to drop back down, and then she's going back up. So I don't really know what to think about that. And then she had a fight against Jocelyn Edward, supposed to take place in August, and it got canceled because she withdrew. So I don't really know why. Remember, she was at Fighting Nerd, so she had like a new gym and everything. And then now I'm trying to see if she's still there, because it's kind of weird, but she's not posting often compared to what she used to be. She just got her black belt recently, Clint, I think 2 weeks ago. So she's a black belt.
I thought she was a black belt this whole time.
I guess she was maybe a brown belt.
Apparently. That's crazy to me. I thought she was a black belt already. Huh.
Yeah, she became black belt 2 weeks ago. I just saw the post right there. So, yeah, I mean, I don't really know what to think about her, because she's kind of a mental midget. Like her mental is not great, man. I mean, remember the Jasmine fight? When things were not starting to go his way, she was frustrating. She was talking to the ref. If things are not going her way, she's not going to look for the door because she's very durable, but she's not going to try to win. She's just going to complain and shit like that. I don't like fighter like this, but again, we don't have to play chalk. It's plus 2XX. So those type of things you can kind of deal with in a certain fight like that, because like you said, Cavalcanti is solid, but she's a decision machine at the end of the day. She's a good striker. She has good footwork, but it's also in the small cage. And she had some fights that went to split decision that should not have been split decision because she's on thin margins and she doesn't really separate against anyone. Even her last fight, she was minus 700 and she won clearly. But some of those rounds, I think it was round 1 or 2, not sure. But some of those rounds were kind of close sometimes. And it's like, why is it close? That girl retired, I think, now. So I just think that Mayra, like you said, she hit hard and she has a nasty ninja choke. So if there's any point in the fight early on, or maybe in round 2, whatever, right? If she get that neck, she could finish her. That's one thing. And then if they go to distance, I think Jacqueline is the way better minute winner. But even if she is, I think Bueno Silva can have some big moments and make the fight interesting. So it is dog or pass for me as well. I'm gonna need to look a little bit more into this one just to see more about the footwork in the small cage for Cavalcanti. And I remember that even though she's style on Nunes, there were some moments where she got clipped a little bit in that fight, right? And Nunes, we know she's
Nunes was this close, man, over and over. My butt was
Yeah.
clenched harder than it's ever been.
So it's like Bueno Silva is way better than Nunes, and she's also way bigger. So, and you look at Cavalcanti couple wins recently, it's not been great. So yeah, I mean, everybody is at this point. I mean, I don't really like the girl. She's kind of like I said, a mental midget, but I mean, she's a finisher at the end of the day for women's MMA, and she has big moments in her fights. So if you give me that against a girl that fight on close margin and she's minus 250, I'm gonna have to say it's dog or pass. But I guess as far as a pick goes, I'll go Jacqueline by decision. But I wouldn't be betting her this week. If anything, if you like Jacqueline, just take the over, because I know it's chalky, but just parlay the over. It's minus 380. You're gonna get all of her win condition, and you're also gonna get Mayra win condition in a decision base moment decision. But you're gonna pay a bit higher, but it's better than like minus 250 on a girl that doesn't have any finishing upside, in my opinion. So yeah, but Bueno Silva, the money line, like you said, you're getting some close decision upside, and you're getting the finishing upside, the grappling potential, and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it could be a decent angle.
Okay. Well, I think we see this one about the same, you guys. Betting perspective, I think it's dog or pass. Probably a Jacqueline decision. Don't love it at the number, though. Let's keep it rolling. Next up, you've got Adrian Yanez taking on Christian Quinones. This is a wild fight, man. I didn't think Christian Quinones was on the roster anymore. Let me just read my notes here for you guys on Christian Quinones. I dug these out of the vault because it's been so long since we've talked about him. He can bang. He can't grapple. That's it. That's my entire notebook on Christian Quinones. You guys, this guy, in my opinion, is not at all UFC level. He's a tough guy. He's big. He's tall. He's long. He hits really hard. So if you give him the fight he wants, he can hurt people, right? He's got 10 wins by KO. But if you take him down, he's just a fish out of water. He's just bad on the mat. It's not going to happen for him if you get him down on the mat. And he's coming off of back-to-back losses. Sun Hyuk and then Hani Barcelos in 2024. We haven't seen him in a long, long time. So I wonder what kind of version of him we will see. He's 29 years old. There's a chance, you know what I mean? There's a chance he's improved. There's a chance he's done something different, and maybe he's a different guy. But if he's anything like what we've seen in the UFC from him so far, I will expect that if you put him on his back, he probably doesn't have much. Now, Adrian Yanez, the problem is he's not much of a wrestler. And at 31 years old, I don't know what Adrian Yanez is anymore, guys. Like, now, I don't want to dig up old painful memories or anything like that, but we're gambling, right? We're putting our money on stuff. We got to talk about it. His whole thing was his head coach died, right? And it was tragic. Father figure type of guy, really mentored him from a young age. So that was awful. And it felt like it kind of put him in a hole. He kept trying to fight, and he kept trying to be like his own manager during this entire process. And it didn't go well. He got knocked out by Rob Font. He got knocked out. He took the leg kick TKO, if you guys remember, from Jonathan Martinez. It was rough. So what he said is he's kind of gone back to the drawing board. He's learned how to be a fighter again. He's learned that he needed somebody else running his camps again. And that kind of seems to be his renewed focus. But he's 31 years old now. He got a big win in a total gimme fight against Vinicius Salvador. The UFC said, come on, kid, let's get you back on the horse here. And then he lost a split decision against Daniel Marcos, the king of, close striking MMA fights. So tough fight, not one that you should be ashamed of losing. Close fight. He fought well. And it seems like maybe he's getting a little bit of his mojo back. I almost feel like this is the UFC kind of feeling like they don't have a way to lose here, right? If Christian Quiñones shows up and he's a new man and he can shuck takedowns and he knocks out a guy like Adrian Yanez, they got a fun, exciting kid with a lot of upside that they can put in a lot of fun fights that they know is going to go out there and just bang. And we know that's what the UFC wants today. So that's a win for them, right? Or they get Adrian Yanez back on track. They get Adrian a win. He's back where he needs to be. People are talking about him again. There's some upside still. And I think that's kind of what the UFC is doing here. They're willing to throw these guys in there together and just kind of see what happens. I am not ready to trust Adrian Yanez, you guys. I'm really not, because I'm worried what will happen if he decides to stand and bang with Christian Quiñones. There's not many people out there that get iced by Rob Font. It just doesn't happen very often. And I would hope that Yanez knows better than to go out there and do that in this fight. But we've kind of seen that he may not have that. So I lean under here, and I can't lay 2-1 on Adrian Yanez this weekend. Ravi, what about you, man? What do you like here?
Do you think Quiñones is alive to finish him?
If he connects, yeah. I mean, if Rob Font's knocking you out, man, Quiñones hits hard. He's not good, but he hits hard. You know what I mean?
I'm not sure what to make about the layoff. It's almost 2 years. I've looked at his Instagram. Doesn't tell me much, man. But he's young. He's 29 years old. So last time he fought, he was 27. So we could see him looking better here. It's a possibility. And Yanez, I feel like we've seen the ceiling from the guy. Good boxer, goes to the body, good power. He used to have a really good chin, though. So the Rob Font fight, he got caught, but I don't think he's chinny, but he's been hurt since then. So, and he doesn't check leg kicks. He doesn't wrestle. He did lay on his back a little bit against Marcos, which was, a bit questionable to me. So he's one-dimensional at the end of the day. He's a boxer. That's basically what he is, with power. So if you can match his boxing and you have other tools like Quiñones does, then he can win, and he can also make it close. A lot of guys that Yanez beat and didn't finish, he make it close. What I'm worried about with Quiñones is the cardio. We've seen him slow down in fights before. So maybe, again, maybe come here at face-off looking in really good shape. Cardio's looking better, and he's having the performance of his life. I saw this dude take down Barcelos, who was hard to take down. We're going to talk about later on this card. Who has really good takedown defense. It was a really good grappler. So, I mean, if anyone grapple here, it's going to be him, right? So, yes, grappling upside. I think he can also crack Yanez. And on minute, it's probably going to be close till maybe gas out. Yanez has better cardio. So, dog or pass for me against Clint. It's a card where I think there's a lot of underdogs that can pull it off. So, it's just going to be a matter of which one we're gonna pick and which one we're gonna bet. So, in this one, I'm not too sure if I want to bet Quiñones but again, Yanez is almost on a year layoff himself. So I don't know what to think about this fight yet. I want to do more research on it, but I kind of lean Quiñones at the price. We're talking plus 180, and I don't know. Like you said, I don't think there's much upside on Yanez at minus 210. So if anything, maybe the under, like you said, it's minus 145, I think. Yeah, minus 145, under 2.5. They're going to go at it. Yeah, I can tell you that. They're not going to stay at distance and trying to point fight. That's for sure. It's going to be a good fight, this one.
This one should be fun.
Like I told you, man, it's a good card. Like, I mean, some of these fights in the Apex sometimes see some bangers. This one, if they go to distance, they're going to go at it. It's going to be a good fight.
Yep. I completely agree with you, man. This one should be fun. It should be a banger. I'll be curious to see the developments from both guys. The biggest thing that I'm curious about is I want to see the weigh-ins. I want to see the face-offs. In my mind, Christian Quiñones has a height and reach advantage here. And guys, looking at the UFC stats, that may not be true. They've got them as Quiñones having a 1-inch height advantage and matching reach. Now, I know Yanez is one of these guys who's got, crazy long arms and stuff like that. So maybe that's accurate, but I want to see it because when I envisioned this fight playing out in my head, I felt like Quiñones was going to have a height and reach advantage, and that would be something to kind of lean me more his direction in a boxing fight. But if that's not the case, the fight plays out maybe a little bit differently. If Yanez is able to connect a little bit better, a little easier because he's not at some disadvantage, then, he probably is the slightly more technical and skilled guy. And I'm with you, man. I need to know what's going on with this Quinones kid. Why has he disappeared for a couple of years? Was it just because he was trying to develop? Was it because he I don't know. For all I know, Cedric Dumas and him were sharing a cell somewhere with ankle monitors. Like, I need to know what happened to him. So we'll figure that out. Lean dog or pass for the moment, but that's one, guys, that could change very, very quickly.
And people in the chat mentioning the chin concerns, and I mean that's the main concern for me, and the reason I didn't bet him yet, because he's been dropped in his last 2 fights. He's been hurt against Barcelos, been dropped against Kang. So I mean, it is scary. If I think you have a chin concern and you're fighting Yanez, I don't really want that. But at the same time, Yanez defense is not good. You get hit a lot and you lose a lot of minutes. So I don't think Quinones is a bad striker. I think Yanez is the better boxer. But, I'm worried about his chin and I'm worried about his cardio. Quinones it is. So, yeah, there's some concerns, but he's plus 180 at the end of the day. So I will see where this line goes.
Yep. Definitely one to keep an eye on. All right, guys. Next up, we've got Jamall, pretty boy Emmers, and he's taking on Hyder, the Hurricane Amil. It is hurricane season again. And, man, Hyder Amil coming off of a massive L in his last fight that, let's be honest, didn't really age too poorly, right? Jose Delgado apparently is a bit of a monster. I know he didn't win his fight against Nathaniel Wood. I got a live bet in that night, but a lot of people felt like he still should have gotten his hand raised at the end of it. And he's a real tough kid with a lot of power. So he got caught. It is what it is. Hyder Amil likes to go forward, get in your face, make you fight. And that's the danger of that kind of style. You're going to eat punches coming back the other way if you put yourself in that position. And eventually it was going to happen. He got caught. Jamall Emmers, the guy I always have to remind myself is 36 years old. For some reason, I still think he's like a young prospect or something like that. He's not. He is 36 years old. He's been alternating wins and losses for a long time. I mean, this is a guy who I feel like is less than the sum of his parts, Stravi. Like, he can wrestle, he can grapple, he can finish with submissions. He's got big hands. He's got heavy power. He's fast. He's athletic, but somehow he's a bag fumbler. Like, we go from the heel hook loss to Pat Sabatini, the Jack Jenkins split decision. He gets a win over Dennis Bazookia. Then Nate Landwehr knocks him out. Like, I don't know what this guy is. I don't know what to make of him. I really feel like he just doesn't quite put it all together. And fighters that are a little bit more UFC caliber are going to take advantage of that. The guys who maybe have chin concerns or maybe a little bit slower, like, he's going to steamroll those guys, athletically speaking, right? But I just don't know if he's that good of a fighter at the end of the day. So, slight edge to Hyder Amil, but the way Hyder Amil fights is going to play right into this guy's hand. Both these guys are going to bite down and swing, and I feel like this is a contest of who lands first, and I hate betting on fights like that, man. I absolutely hate betting on fights like that. So, slight lean on Hyder Amil to bounce back, and if you are monitoring the pattern, you guys, like I said, lost to Pat Sabatini, win against Ashkabov, lost to Jack Jenkins, win over Dennis, lost to Nate the Train, win over Gabriel Miranda. The L is coming for Jamall Emmers on Saturday if the pattern holds. So, yeah, man, put shoving my chips all on red and just hoping I get the right spin of the wheel here. I like Hyder Amil.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about dog or pass. This one, I don't have much interest in the dog, honestly, just because the problem with Emmers is his fight IQ is not good. He make a lot of mistakes, and I think he's good. He's a good athlete. He's good. Good wrestling, good striking, but I think his durability is starting to fail him. That's one issue that he has. And Hyder Amil, he got caught with a big knee in his last fight. But honestly, I think his durability is probably still good. We don't really know yet, but I think it's still good. And he's a dog. He's going to go at you. He's going to, he's kind of a similar fighter to Nate the Train in a certain way. We've seen how that fight goes, Emmers kind of hurt him, didn't finish him. Nate the Train came at him and he broke him early in round one. You break him and then you finish him. Mm-hmm. And I think Hyder Amil can do the same thing here. And if it goes round 2 and 3, I'm going to trust him to push forward and do more just because he probably wants it more at this stage of his career. So I think Hyder Amil is going to get it done. I kind of lean KO. But yeah, I'm gonna think about it a little bit more. Maybe 2-3 prop could be interesting here. Hyder Amil is normally a guy that has a lot of round 2 KOs for some reasons. I think most of them. most of his finishes are round 2. So, you know, let me just check. Yeah, so he has 1 KO1 and he has 5 round 2 KOs. So that's something to, you know, maybe look for. And then either Emmers has been KO'd 3 times. So, and he's getting older at this stage.
That's a good point. It's a really good point. So yeah, Hyder Amil. Glad we agree on that one. Real quick, you guys, let's take a break. Let's check out Spectation Sports. If you guys haven't watched Spectation Sports, first and foremost, you need to. This week, Rough 65, you guys missed one of the hottest prospects outside the UFC. Ezra Elliott captured the Rough title at 145 pounds. He just moved up weight classes and he looked incredible. This kid has a wicked ground game. He trains with Tim Welsh and Sean O'Malley. He looked amazing. It is not going to be long before we hear the UFC knocking on this kid's door. I don't know if he's going to be a guy that gets the call maybe for next year's Contender Series, or because it's, you know, almost a year away at this point. There's a chance maybe he gets the call straight up to the UFC or something like that, but you need to watch him work. And in order to do that, you need a subscription to spectationsports.com. Promo code DieHard will save you 20% off when you sign up. They've got events practically every single weekend. We've got another double header coming up this weekend with Synergy and BTC. So if you need any additional MMA love in your life, this is the place to be. Promo code DieHard will get you set up with that discount. Next up, of course, we have to shout out cloudbet.com. Cloudbet, you guys, promo code DieHard MMA will get you up to $2,500 when you sign up. Some really great prop numbers here available to you. They sponsor the PFL, and you can watch and live bet on PFL using the Fight Center embedded in your screen on cloudbet.com, you guys. So make sure you click that link in the description below for me. Please check out Cloudbet. Get signed up if you haven't already. And then, of course, make sure you're checking out our guy, Dravi, you guys. Make sure you support our guest. Like I said before, one of the sharpest guys in the game, really up and coming, making a name for himself, and not enough followers on Twitter. So get on it, go check him out, follow his stuff. He's one of the ones that's worth it. And as you guys can tell from the pod, as is usual with my standard, right? Only the good guys. So real nice guy, good one to have around, real respectful, good guy to follow. Check him out. Next up, you guys, we got Marco Tulio and Christian Leroy Duncan. Dravi, I am so frustrated with CLD. I don't know what to make of this guy. I can't stand CLD. He is a boring ass decision machine. He's a freak athlete. He's huge. But it seems like if the fight gets a little bit, he's like Cyril Gane, man. Like if the fight starts to get a little bit away from him, he just doesn't know what to do with himself. He's got good quick counters. He's got good footwork. He's got good range control, but he's always throwing spinning shit randomly. And he can get made to be real uncomfortable by people. He's coming off a big win over Eric Anders, which hurt my heart just a little bit because we kind of saw that one coming. Unfortunate. He's taking on Marco Tulio in this next fight. Marco is 14-1. He's a shoot the box guy. He's built like a brick shit house. This guy is, as per normal with shoot the box, aggressive as hell. 2-0 off of Dana White's Contender Series with round 1 finish over Ihor Peteria and a round 2 finish over Tresean Gore. What am I missing here, Dravi? Because I fully expected Christian Leroy Duncan to be the favorite, and that's just not the case. You guys, Christian Leroy Duncan is an underdog to Marco Tulio. And you guys know how I feel about these Contender Series guys. They've really got to prove their stripes when they get over to the UFC before I've got any kind of interest in them. As much as I am not a CLD fan, Marco Tulio is a guy who fights in a straight line. He comes forward. He throws knees and elbows. He'll throw flying knees. He'll throw a spin kick in there every once in a while, but it is just straight line, no head movement, straight punches, coming down the pipe, hit you in the face, do whatever I can to hurt you right away. The one time he lost, he got knocked out. Each time I see him kind of getting into like round 2, he likes to ramp up the pressure, and it seems like he doesn't have the gas tank for it. Now, I know he finishes most people before he gets there, and I know the small cage is going to favor Tulio. But I can see CLD kind of slowing this man down, confusing him with angles, making him work, trying to make him chase. And I think that can set up a big shot, a big counter. Am I insane here, Dravi? Because I think this is dog or pass. I think the wrong fighter is favored. I think CLD wins this fight outright. I think he can knock him out.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're gonna disagree a little bit on this one. Like, I do think the line should be Tulio favorite because I mean, you've mentioned the striking, which probably gonna be competitive, right? CLD, better footwork, better, maybe more tools, I can say, on the feet, and he has good angles. He can catch you with big shots and stuff like that. But Tulio is gonna be the one pressuring. That's one thing, and then
Mhm.
he hit really hard, and he's also a good striker in his own right, and he has good cardio, but also he has grappling upside here. That's my issue with CLD. The times he's lost on the regional, even as an amateur, that's because he's got grapple. And Tulio is a strong dude. He's gonna try to mix in the takedowns, and if he does, that's how CLD lost fights sometimes. People that mix the takedowns and the striking, people that pressure him, like Robocop did, for example. I think it's kind of a similar matchup. But also, there's a lot of hype on Tulio right now. He had,
Mhm.
his last two fights were impressive performances. Um, so I don't know if I would be willing to lay minus 190 because I think CLD is a good fighter in his own right. But I think there's maybe some angle props wise, maybe with the totals. I kind of think this fight might go longer because CLD is really durable. Tulio, I know he's been caught before, but unless he get caught with like a spinning elbow or something here, I don't really see him getting finished. And if he grapples CLD has good submission defense. I don't really see him getting submitted. So I think it's a Tulio decision here. Trusting CLD, making it a little bit closer. Maybe he's gonna make Tulio work to get to him, and because of that, that could open up a lot of CLD striking. But if you add the takedown threat that's going to be there for Tulio and the fact that I think he can take him down, and if he does, CLD might be a little bit more careful, and then that's going to open up Tulio striking more. And Tulio just throw a lot of volume, man, and he's going to put the pressure on him. So I think he's better fighter all around. Let's say he's more well-rounded. He has more paths to win. So I think he should be a favorite. Do I agree with minus 190? I kind of do, honestly. Maybe it's a little bit wide. Maybe you go 60%, minus 150. But I think he should be a favorite here. CLD, we've seen he's just not consistent in his performances, but I do think he's really good, though. I wouldn't blame you if you bet him at plus 165. I don't think you can be that wrong because I don't think he's gonna get finished. So if you don't think it's more so, do you give Tulio a lot of grappling upside? Because I give him some, but not a lot personally. Then it's the thing: do you think get finished or not? If you don't think he's gonna if you don't really see a finish, I think CLD makes sense because I don't think Tulio is gonna like 30-27 him. I think it's gonna be a 29-28 decision, but for Tulio.
Okay, man. We're gonna go ahead and disagree on that one, and guys, that's gonna be the Link Memorial Dog of the Week. If you are taking a look over here on cloudbet.com, we have got odds of plus 159. You're looking at plus 160-ish on Christian, Leroy, Duncan, and they've got their props up already. We got a knockout prop here of plus 382. I think I'm going to sprinkle round three, Dravi. I think this one more than likely probably goes the distance, but with the way Marco Tulio comes forward, the way we're trapped in the small cage, I do think we're going to be forced to see some action here, and I do think they're going to force CLD to fight. This feels like a test to me, right? Because CLD is the guy they like. CLD is the guy that they've been bringing along. This is a younger, angrier version of Gregory Rodriguez, and that is the last guy that he lost to. And before that, Armen Petrosyan, a guy who's going to come forward and throw hands. It's like, okay, they gave you a couple wins. They gave you a little bit of time. Now they're going to give you the same matchup that has caused you problems already twice. And you can absolutely take the stance of, well, I've seen him fight this guy before, and I've seen him lose to him before, so I'm going to bet against him. That makes perfect sense to me. I'm going to bank on the fact that CLD is good enough to improve. I'm going to bank on the fact that I think he's going to make adjustments and improvements, and I think he's going to be able to wear this guy down, and especially with I think he's got a bit of a questionable gas tank. I can't prove it. Like, the meme, I can't prove it, but I think he's got a questionable gas tank. I think CLD will be able to kind of separate himself in rounds 2 and rounds 3. And I don't think he should be the dog. So we're going to go dog hunting here on this one, man. All right. Keep it rolling, you guys. Next up, you got Ricky Simón, and he's taking on Hani Barcelos. A bit of a veteran matchup here, man. Can I just say how impressed I am with Hani at this point? He's incredible, dude. The guy is damn near 40 years old at this point, and he's fighting arguably the best of his entire career. He's 38, and he's on a 3-fight win streak. He completely spoiled everybody's night against Peyton Talbot. He just beat a former champion in Cody Garbrandt. I know the fight before that was the aforementioned Christian Quinones, who we talked about a little bit before, but he fought closely with Kyler Phillips. I mean, this guy has really been in every single fight he's been in. Even the fights that he's lost, he's been very competitive in those moments. He's a really strong grappler. He's a really good jiu-jitsu player. He doesn't go offensive enough with his jiu-jitsu, in my opinion. There have been a couple times where I'm kind of screaming at my TV, put your hooks in, Marani, get the hooks in. Like, he doesn't go for the rear naked chokes. You know what I mean? He could probably put some fights away on the ground if he really wanted to, but he focuses on the control. He focuses on the pressure. He likes to strike. He does come forward in a bit of a straight line, so I do think he can be counterable, but you're not going to have to worry too much about that with Ricky Simón. Ricky is 22-6. He is 33 years old, so he's going to have a youth advantage here. And this guy is just an Energizer bunny. He's a nonstop battery. We know he wrestles. So it's going to be really interesting to me to see who comes out on top on this one, because both these guys want to take their opponent down. Both these guys want to wear their opponent out. I remember all the way back in 2020, man, I had a huge bet on one Ray Borg, because by the way, another, now I was going to say Isaac Dolgarian. He didn't cheat, so he didn't not like that, but another lost prospect. Ray Borg was my guy. I loved Ray Borg back in the day, and he out hustled a guy like Ricky Simón on the mat. I'm not sure that Hani is capable of doing that at the age he is. I do feel like the Energizer buddy of Ricky Simón, just the constant changing of positions. I think Ricky's going to beat him to the next spot. You know what I mean? You see that a lot in MMA, where it's like, okay, I know where you're going. And trust me, as the elder statesman here on the podcast, I can tell you, you just slow down a little bit, man. When the kid beats you to that next position, you know where you're supposed to go. I know how to defend that move, but he got there just a little quicker than me. I think that's how this fight's going to play out. So slight edge to Ricky Simón here for me.
We're going to disagree back to back, Lynn. I think it's Barcelos here.
All right.
I'm picking him out right. I think the line should be kind of 50-50. Yeah, so the way I see it, he's the better striker. He throw more volume. I think if his calf kick's going to be a big weapon here. We've seen Ricky struggle with that a lot. My problem with Barcelos is he doesn't use them all the time, but when he does, they're pretty effective. And I've seen Ricky doesn't check them, and he has issues with that. So that's a big weapon. But I think overall in the striking, Barcelos is just a better striker with more volume. Then I'm concerned about the age. Obviously, he's 38 and he's been hurt in his last couple fights. But honestly, Ricky Simón is chinny himself. He's been hurt a couple times, so I could see him getting hurt again here. And the wrestling, yes, Ricky can take him down, but Barcelos, I think he has 85% takedown defense. So I don't think it's going to be easy. And if Ricky Simón can get his wrestling going, he has lost a lot of fight because of that. So I think that's a fight where he's probably not going to have an easy time getting his wrestling game going. And I don't think he's the better striker. But yeah, he does have some power. So maybe crack Barcelos, who's getting older. But personally, Barcelos against Talbot, the performance was really good to me. I think a win over Talbot. I know people kind of shit on him, but that's pretty impressive the way he did it. He looked really good. Even on the feet, he landed a lot of big shots, man. So yeah, against Cody, he got dropped early, and then he kind of cooked him in round 2 and 3. I think Barcelos' cardio kind of looked better recently. It's kind of crazy to say because Ricky Simón used to be a cardio machine. But remember, he slowed down against Batista in round 3. He kind of slowed down a little bit against Smoother Man in round 3, even though it was an easy matchup for him. And he has some sketchy moments in his fight. Like Smoother Man, he was looking good. He was winning easily. It's an easy matchup. But in round 3, some bad moments. Oliveira fight, he slowed down a little bit. So normally he never slowed down. So I'm not saying he's a gasser, right? Nothing like that. But Barcelos, even though he's older and he can slow down himself, he has pushed the pace more in the later round recently. So I just trust him to do more. And I think all around he's the better fighter. But yeah, he's older, so there's some concerns. I can understand people being hesitant, but I think he's the side at plus money.
Okay. I can see it. I respect it. I like it. Everybody loves a good Harney Barcelos victory, so it'd be fun to see. I'll slightly lean on the youth, but I can't argue a single point that you made, man. I think it's fair. I think it's fair value. So go for it. Good luck. We'll see what ends up happening here. Next up, you guys, we have got the first of the Bonfim bros. Ismael Bonfim takes on Chris Taco Padilla. Taco, one of the biggest surprises for me personally in the MMA space here, Dravi. I circled this guy and I went, you know what? He is a stat patter. This guy is a feeder. They're bringing him in here to look bad against some of these prospects. 3 in a row, man. 3 in a row. He's rattled off 3 underdog wins in a row. Plus 340 against James Yontop, plus 200 against Rong Zhu, and then a plus 105 near even money underdog against Jai Herbert with a split decision. I was this close to betting him against Jai Herbert. I was a little disappointed. I know it was a close fight. I know it was a split decision. So there's no shame in passing in that kind of a situation in hindsight. But I was this close, and I wish I had cashed that ticket because, first off, how can you not love the guy? I mean, the fight name Taco is fantastic. We got some really good names on this card. Pound for pound, probably the best nickname card the UFC has put on all year. But you love the guy. You love the attitude. You love the fight name. He's tough, dude. He comes forward. He has big, powerful shots that he throws. That cracking elbow that he hit Rong Zhu with that completely swole his eye up, the timing. He's a guy who's not very fast. And I do think that's a bit of a negative. I do think people will be quicker than him. He doesn't have a lot of volume, but what he does really well is he controls that space. And he's not quick, but he knows how to counter. He's got really good timing. It's almost like he's turned a weakness into a strength. And I feel like that has served him really well up until this point. He's incredibly tough. We've seen the durability get checked out. He seems like a guy who, almost like Garcia last weekend, you know, I want to talk shit on him because of his trash record. I want to talk bad about him because of the losses he had on the regional scene. Seems like he's hitting his stride right now, man. Ismael Bonfim, 20-5, 29 years old. And he seems like the worst of the Bonfim bros to me. I think that's pretty obvious by the placement on the card here. 2-2 so far in the UFC. He went from Terrence McKinney to Benoit Saint-Denis. What the hell were they thinking? That was, for us God of War truthers, that was a beautiful night for Benoit Saint-Denis to wreck this man. It seems like of the two, he is more than capable of going 15 minutes. He's more boxer than he is grappler, right? Like, we'll talk about the other Bonfim, but like both these guys are club and sub guys, right? Both of them are very good boxers with the aggressive BJJ. When they hurt people on the feet, then they grapple. That's just how it works. Bonfim seems to be a little bit more grindy, a little bit more wrestler, a little more I'll play with my hands. And we've seen some decision wins from him in the past, so we know he can go 15 minutes. We know he can put a full fight together, but we also have seen him break. And that's kind of the issue here for me is at the higher level, he does tend to break a little bit. Now, Chris Padilla, I don't put him in the category with Benoit Saint-Denis, right? I'm not thinking that that's the thing here. We have seen Chris Padilla get submitted before. He's got 2 losses on the regionals by sub before he got to the UFC, which is concerning going up against a Bonfim bro. But at this point, Taco is just a fighter that I don't need to get in front of. You know, Ismael Bonfim is a 2-1 favorite right now. And Chris Padilla, again, he's cashed as an underdog 3 times in a row. And I always tell you guys, the books know what they're doing, right? They get paid based off knowing what they're doing. And eventually, if they keep lining somebody an underdog, they're right about them. Yeah, eventually they're going to be correct about them. And in this case, I think this might be where the rubber meets the road. He was an even money fight last time. He got the win. Slight dog, give him the credit. But now they're making him plus 160 again. Now they're making him plus 170 again. It almost feels like bait. So I'm going to lean ever so slightly with Bonfim. But I think Taco goes out there and puts out a fight, man. I think this is close. I think this one goes the full 15 minutes.
Yeah, I'm going to say that right now. I mean, I think Bonfim is a quitter, bro. I really do believe that. When things are not going his way, he's going to find the door, man. And I mean, he's been finishing all of his losses, and I don't think that's by accident. Every time there's adversity, yeah, exactly. I agree with that.
A good comment from Tim right there. For those of you audio listeners, show Bonfim the door and he will run right through it.
Yeah, so I mean, there's one thing I can tell you, right? When Padilla hit Rong Zhu with that big nasty elbow, and his eye was all, Rong Zhu swung after that. He swing, he's a gangster, but the ref said no more. But he's gonna connect that elbow. He did it against Jai Herbert in round 3. because remember, he got caught with a big knee in round 3, Padilla against Jai Herbert, in a fight that he was winning, right? Close margins, but he was winning. In round 3, he get caught with a big knee. He get kind of hurt a little bit. He got cut. His eye, I don't know if you saw the picture, but his eyes was a lot of blood, and he had like a cut right there. And after that, he said, "All right, let's go." He swung that elbow, and Jai Herbert thought that he was going for the kill maybe or something. And then he wobbled Jai Herbert with that same shot that he had against Rong Zhu. And what I've noticed with Bonfim, him mentioned in the chat, he's way faster. He's a better boxer. I agree with that, right? He has more skills. But when he rushes forward and when he goes in the pocket, he's hittable. And he's there to be cracked. He's there to be counter. And I think a guy like Padilla, who's really smart, who's watching a lot of tapes, who has good fight IQ, is going to try to find those moments to land those type of strikes. Big elbows, big knees in the clinch, and stuff like that. And those type of strikes can cut you open. And I think we've seen the best example against Salikhov versus Bonfim. He's looking good. He's outstriking him. And then he get hit with a big question mark kick. And then he get caught. And his cut was under the eyes. It was right there. He was fine. But then in the corner, he act like he's not fine. He's fine. Like, you can see in his face, he wanted to quit. Like, I'm telling you, he wanted to quit. And then after the ref called the fight off, he's acting like he was fine and stuff like that. I don't believe that shit. I think he wanted out of that fight. Just look at his face when he's going back in the corner and stuff. He don't like adversity. And Padilla, if he has adversity, he still can fight, right? And I think that he can cut him with a elbow. I think he can hurt him with the big elbows because, like I said, Bonfim can be reckless in the pocket when he throws his ends. Now, I have some issues for sure. Bonfim, good calf kicks, good boxing, speed advantage. But he's not really a good finisher, right? And the Salikhov fight, it was a good look early, guys. But remember, Nazim Salikhov, almost every fight, he's losing early. And then he's making adjustment. And he come back and he finish guys late. Stuff like that. The Mota fight, for example. The McKinney fight, for example. Even the Evan Elder fight. Almost all of his fights, this guy is losing until he wins. So, yes, Bonfim looked great, but that was a Nazim Salikhov fight. It's always like that. So, and also, I think that Padilla has some grappling upside. I think Bonfim takedown defense is actually pretty good, honestly. But I think Padilla has some takedowns that can get him. So if you get a takedown or two, I don't think he has the best top control, but he has a good back take and he has a decent rear naked choke. And we've seen Bonfim submitted by that exact submission multiple times. So if I think Padilla can grapple him, I think Padilla can maybe get to the back. I think Padilla is more likely to submit. I also think Padilla is more likely to knock him out. I think he's more durable. And I know Bonfim has only been KO'd once, but still, in some of these fights, the fight against Benoit Saint-Denis, I know he broke one of his arm, but he was not defending the choke, right? I don't think that fight was fixed, by the way, but the way he was trying to defend the rear naked choke, he was just not good at defending it. And then you look into his record, and I know a lot of his submission losses are against good fighter, but if he gets submitted by the same exact submission a lot of times, maybe because you're not good in those positions, right? So, and Padilla is good on the back. So I think that's one path. And then if they go to distance, I think Padilla is smart and he's going to win some minutes. You know, Jai Herbert beating him in his decision, it's not easy. He's a good striker. So I just think that Padilla also market-wise, Clint, because it's always important. Padilla has won twice in the UFC as a big underdog, and Bonfim already lost twice as a big favorite. So the bookies has been wrong on these guys already a couple of times, and now they're saying it's Bonfim minus 200. I think it's wrong again. I think it should be way closer. I think Padilla is going to finish him.
I love it. I absolutely love it. It's not going to take a whole lot to get me to try to get on the fade train for the Bonfim bros. I have made no bones about the fact that I kind of don't believe in these guys. So I love hearing that you like Taco, man. I will do a little bit more legwork to make sure I can get there myself. But you may have talked me into it, man. I might end up joining you on that one.
He's a winner. He's a winner. He's the type of guy you want to bet as an underdog. You don't want to lay chalk on him because, you know, he's not that skilled. He's not like he's not impressive per se, but he's going to do what he needs to do to win the fight. And sometimes it can be close. Sometimes he can finish you. But if you give me like, I play plus 200. Now it's plus 170. I still think it's great. Honestly, I think it should be way closer to pick him.
Okay. Yeah, man. I'll do some work to make sure I agree, like I said, but it's not going to take much. So I might join you there on that one.
You should pull Tim's last comment on the screen.
Pull Tim's last comment? He said, to be fair, Bonfim went to the Isaac Bulgarian school of defending rear naked jokes.
I agree, bro. I agree.
He graduated with honors. I love it. Show me a sub. We'll do another sub round robin this week. Let's get it. Let's get it. All right, guys. Next fight, we have got Muslim Salikhov taking on Uros Medic. And what have we always said about Uros Medic? You can take the fighter out of Alaska FC, but you can never take the Alaska FC out of the fighter. Some of the worst professional fighters MMA has ever known from that organization. And Uros seems to be the one they can kind of hang their hat on at this point. This man still somehow has a 100% finish rate, man. I'm talking wins and losses. Doesn't matter if he wins the fight. Doesn't matter if he loses the fight. This man has a 100% end of fight rate. Never seen a decision. And he's similar to what we were talking about earlier in the show, is alternating wins and losses. Now, I go back to that fight. Every single time I talk about this man, I go back to the Matt Semmelsberger fight. He is not the most durable fighter you've ever seen, but you can't question the heart. You can't question the desire. You can't question the want. He wants to be in that cage. He wants to fight, right? Matt Semmelsberger had him hurt and had him hurt early. And this man said, no, I'm not done. And he punched his way back into it. He ends up finishing Matt in the third round. Impressive as all get out. Now, Matt's not the greatest UFC fighter you've ever seen. But again, it's the effort that I'm worried about, right? You give him Mikdavek Oralbai, we knew that one was over. That was a wonderful cash that evening. Puna got him out of there quicker than I expected him to. But that was another good one for us. You give me a more durable, better technique fighter, and they're going to knock Uros out. That's just how it goes. Now, Muslim Salikhov is an enigma. This man is confusing. The king of Kung Fu is 40 years old, and I don't know how these words are coming out of my mouth right now. He's on a 3-fight win streak, Dravi. 3 fights in a row, 2 of them by knockout. This man sparked Keenan Song in round 1 and reminded everybody who the fuck he was. And then he completely fraud-checked Carlos Leal in his last fight. Everybody and their mother had Carlos Leal parlayed to Kingdom Come, and this man smoked every single one of those. I don't know what happened, because when he got knocked out by Randy Brown, I went, you know what? Salikhov, we've had a good run, buddy. It was a good run. But you're 40 years old now. It's time to hang it up. It's time to apply to work at your nephew's tax center and just go, just work the stapler. You'll be all right. You can figure that out. They'll pay you a check. You can feed your grandkids. And he was like, nah, bro, I got more in me, and came back and started whooping these boys' ass. You cannot mess around with Muslim Salikhov. He's still got fast hands. He's still got stupid power. He still has incredible timing. Like I was talking about with Taco, it's not that he's so fast, it's that his timing is good. He's a wily old savage veteran who just knows where your head's going to be and pops it like a grape. I love this guy. And Uros Medic might be the younger fighter. Uros Medic might be the longer fighter. He might be the more aggressive fighter. But I know he's not the more durable of the 2 fighters. I've said this is going to be a match of who lands first a couple of times this evening already. This is going to be a match of who lands first, man. And I think Muslim Salikhov stands a half-decent shot to be the one who lands first. I've seen how good his timing is. Uros is going to crash the pocket, and that's either going to go really well for him or really bad for him. So under. I'm tempted to roll the dice with the old dog again, man, because I just don't believe in Uros. But either way, under.
Yeah, he's crazy. He's 41 years old, man. And I mean, one of the things he did, Clint, is he went to Neil Magny camp with Drew Dober and these guys at pound for pound, Muay Thai, I think, something like that, right? With Neil Magny.
Mm-hmm.
So he's been at that camp since I think it's his last fight or the fight prior that he's
training in the Magniverse has got to be good for you.
Exactly. And I mean, I think he's on all the sauce right now, honestly.
That would make sense.
Yeah, and bro, I mean, the guy was always a good striker, like always. He's a really good striker. And I guess I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm gonna ask the same question in the chat. Who's the better striker between Muslim Sadi? Like, don't talk about the age or anything. Like, who's the better striker, Salikhov or Medic?
Oh, I
What
mean,
do you
it's not even close. It's not even close. It's Salikhov.
So I do think Medic is a good striker, honestly. He's nasty, he has big power, he's fast and stuff like that. So when a guy is older like that, I have two issues. One, the age, the chin, and two, the cardio, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I look on the other side. Magic's never went 15 minutes, right? So I don't think his cardio is the best either. And he has a big chin issues. He's chinny, man. He really is. Why Hilbert Urbina is dropping you like that, bro? Like, why is that happening? So, like you said, he has that dog in him, like he's gonna fight, but sometimes you're not gonna have that opportunity to fight. You know who's really durable and who has that dog in him? Carlos Leal. And when he hit him with that shot that he didn't see coming, the fight was over. And he always had that spinning wheel kick that's always there to land, and he's really fast with that. Is that a check right hook that he does? I think it is, right? Yeah, it's a counter right hook, right? That's what he got Carlos Leal with. So he has that he's pretty cool with, and the spinning wall kick. And then he has 12 round 1 KOs. He's still doing his thing, man. He's still doing his thing. And Medic, at the end of the day, he has KO power himself. So I'm annoyed there because people slammed that under 1.5 line. It was pick'em. I was like, yeah, I really like that. But then, the limit was $100, $250. So I had to wait a little bit. And then the limit is like 1.7K right now, but it's minus 170. So I still think there's value, but I don't like it as much. So now I'm kind of thinking, yeah, so I think both guys can knock out the other. Fight don't go the distance is minus 600, just to give you guys a little idea. So they're thinking it's going to go the distance. I want to see on other books what the under 2.5 will be, because I could see it like losing the under 1.5 by a minute or two. You know what I mean? I could see that happening, but I still don't think it's going to go the distance. I think both of them are alive for a knockout. And as crazy as I could sound, like, I know he's 41 years old, but Salikhov is 5-1 to the decision, and Medic never won the distance. So I don't know who I favor in the decision, but it's close, right? At worst, it's close. But BetOnline has Medic decision plus 550, and they have Salikhov decision at plus 750. So I don't agree with that. I think if
I don't agree with that either.
Close. So, and then the KO, they have Salikhov plus 200, and they have Medic minus 110. Then it's like, I don't agree with that either. So yeah, I don't really want to bet this dude.
It's all over the place.
He's 41 years old. He just won 3 fights in a row. So it's kind of hard for me to go here and back him. But at the same time, man, I couldn't get to a Medic play, that's for sure. So either under 1.5, Salikhov round 1 KO, Salikhov KO. No, money line, because there's not a big difference. Someone's going down. And I think Salikhov, despite being older, I think he's the better fighter. So I don't know what I'm going to do, but Medic is chinny, man. He's been hurt a lot. So I do think he can be knocked out here. So, and if it go to distance, I don't really know how it's going to play out, but it's going to be close. So yeah, man. Man, I'm going to go Salikhov, Clint. I'm going to go Salikhov. I'm going to go another underdog. It's not the one I'm the most passionate about, but I mean, to me, he's going to get it done, man. That's the way I see it. So yeah, a volatile fight though.
I like it. All right, guys. Next up, you got Matt Danger Schnell, and he takes on Joseph Morales. God, I'll be honest with you, Dravi. I already said my goodbyes. Have you guys ever had that old family member that you're like, you keep getting that phone call, grandma's just not doing well, guys. Grandma's having a bit of a tough time. It might be time. And that just kind of drags on, it just goes on for years. And you're like, okay, at this point, like, I've already been sad. At this point, I've already cried. To me, grandma's already dead. So when you get the call that she's passed and she's flatlined, you're like, yeah, like, it sucks, but you were prepared for it because you've been waiting on it, frankly, for a long time. That's me and Matt Schnell. I said my goodbyes. I already had the funeral. Matt Schnell in his last fight against Jimmy Flick, I literally thought he was done, man. When they announced this fight, I straight up was like, whoa. Matt didn't retire. I swear Matt retired. Like I swore Matt retired. I thought it was over.
He did, Clint. But
okay, so I'm not crazy.
Again after. Yeah, he did retire.
Okay, so classic.
He put his gloves in the middle of the cage after the Cody Durden fight.
Classic MMA retirement. Here we go again. So no. I'm sorry. And I thought he did it again after Jimmy Flick. I know he retired after Cody, but I thought he did it again after Jimmy Flick. I thought we were done. Anyway, the Jimmy Flick fight, man. I'm a Matt Schnell fan, right? Like the guy's got good, smooth boxing. I've always loved his jiu-jitsu. It's aggressive. It's scrambly. He's fast. He knows how to get to that next position next. But his durability's been shot for years. And the Jimmy Flick fight, you don't fight Jimmy Flick afraid to get hit. You just don't. Like Jimmy Flick's not a power guy. Jimmy Flick's not a guy you should worry about touching you. And Matt Schnell fought that fight scared. Now you might say he fought that fight smart. You could frame it in a much kinder light and say that he fought it very intelligently. And I saw a man who was afraid to get touched on the jaw by Jimmy Flick, who, as much as, I'm a fan of Jimmy Flick, I like the guy, but he is a 35-year-old UFC washout, essentially, right? Like, he's a guy who barely made it to the UFC and then got finished by everybody he ever fought. Like, he's not a guy who's a caliber UFC fighter. And he also retired and came back. And that's the guy that you're afraid of getting touched on the jaw by. I just think Matt Schnell is shot to bits. His skill set is fantastic. His body has failed him. I can't question his heart, though. I will always love him for the Sumajiri triangle choke, man. I was one of the few people who had Matt Schnell by sub that night. Everybody and their mom had Sumajiri by knockout. I cashed my ticket because Matt left this man in a pool of his own blood and got me that tap. So I appreciate him forever. But no, it's over. We had our run. It was a good time. Joseph Morales is 13-2. He's 31 years coming off the Ultimate Fighter. Now, his UFC debut, or the Ultimate Fighter finale, whichever way you want to look at it, was at UFC 319. And he submitted Idris, Alibi Idris. One of the biggest mistakes I've ever made. I had a parlay on Idris, and I thought he was going to be the A-side. I really felt like this was a UFC washout who earned his shot, getting a crack at it. How many times have we seen that story where they just are the same guy they were when they got dropped, right? Like, they didn't hack it in the UFC, and that's the reason they got cut. They're going to come back to the UFC, and they're not quite going to do that well. They'll fight 3-4 times. They'll get cut again. That's what I expected from Joseph Morales. He whooped that kid's ass. He came out aggressive. He took him down. He beat him up. He did whatever he wanted to do. I was incredibly impressed by Joseph Morales in that fight. So he is much younger. He's aggressive. He's a good grappler. He has fast blitz attacks. He is really fast, man. He can be a little bit low volume at times when he's like waiting for his moment. But when he decides to go, this kid is lightning. He's knocking Matt Schnell out on Saturday.
Is he going to knock him out or submit him? That's the question. I think he's going to submit him, Clint, honestly, because he's more of a grappler and he's more of a submission guy, but he could knock him out. Yeah, that could happen for sure. Like, I think I favor submission, but I've talked about a lot of underdogs this podcast, right? I think this underdog is live, this underdog I like, etc. I don't like Matt Schnell this week. I think he's gonna get finished. I think Morales, even at the big chalk, is good value because he's really improving. And people might not know about this, but his last 3 wins are really good, right? Because that guy that he beat, Enrique, that he submit, a really, really good fighter that should be in the UFC, by the way. One of the best fighter from last season that didn't get signed in a win for some reasons. He submit him. Emmanuel Rodriguez, really, really good fighter, a very big power. He's super good. He got signed down at White Contenders. He's one of the best prospects that got signed last season. He beat him, close fights, the decision, kind of controversial, but still, that's a win on his resume. Mm-hmm. And Idris, like you said, he's 10-0. He's a good fighter in his own right. He's not the best of all time, but that's a good win, right? And Matt Schnell, man, I mean, the kid head is out of the game. He's 35 years old at flyweight. He has no chin. And yes, his grappling offense is good. He has a good guillotine, but he's been submitted 3 times already. And he's 5-1 to the decision. So if you don't finish him, he has good boxing and he can maybe win. But I think Morales is going to finish him, honestly. And if he doesn't finish him, I still think that he's a better grappler and is going to win the fight. I'm not going to waste too much time on this one. I think that he's the side. But I lean submission, though.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you, man. If you're going to give me a chance to fade Matt Schnell in 2025, I'm taking it. That's all this comes down to. I do think that that's the move. I'm with you. He's probably a parlay piece for me. Yeah, maybe minus 300 is a little bit too much. Maybe that's a little bit disrespectful, but I just think he's got to land one shot and this entire fight changes. Like your skill edge does not matter when you get tapped on the chin and you're fighting for your survival, you know? So we'll see what ends up happening, but that's kind of how I picture this fight going. Yeah, KO or sub. I like inside the distance. All right, everybody, do me a favor one more time, please. Hit that like button. Share the show if you haven't yet already. Please make sure you're clicking the link in the description below and get signed up for cloudbet.com. It's main event time, baby. We've got Gabriel Bonfim, and he's taking on Randy Rude Boy Brown. This is a great fight, man. This is really fun. Gabriel Bonfim is a guy that I have tried to get on the other side of, much like the other Bonfim, right? I've already made no bones about it. I've kind of looked to fade these guys where I've had the opportunity to. I bet Chaos Williams against this guy. And I really was banking on the fact that Chaos was tough to take down. Now, we had an inflated sense of takedown defense for Chaos. Turns out takedown defense, not that great. And I'll give a little bit of credit where it's due to Gabriel for improving in that area. I will say I got to pat myself on the back for just a little bit. I haven't had many opportunities to do that in 2025, so I'm going to take it when I got it. But a lot of people were looking to get the bounce back on Chaos against Andreas Gustafsson in his next fight. And I was like, fuck no. We just saw Gabriel Bonfim take this guy down. You're not getting me to bet against the big time grappler when he just got taken down by a Bonfim, bro, right? Not happening. So the big thing with this Bonfim, bro, is he's a little bit more offensive than his brother, right? His brother is the one who wants to slow the pace down, who wants to grind it down, who wants to go 15 minutes. This guy doesn't get paid by the hour. This guy wants to club and sub you early. He jumps guillotine, and boy, does he sell out for that guillotine. He's got one of the tightest squeezes we have ever seen. Apparently, he's got Darce chokes that he can pull out of bag too when he needs to. His last fight, huge win over Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Very close fight, man. A minus 500 favorite in that spot. And he goes to a split decision with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Very close fight. And it was pretty controversial. I know a lot of people who felt like that probably should have gone the other way. So
I had money on Wonderboy that night.
Oof.
Watching him back was so annoying because
I'm sure.
I think it was clear. And, you know, Clint, this last 3 months, the judges' criteria kind of changed. Like, they don't really score control anymore, right? That fight in round 2 and 3 was a lot of control with nothing. And I think if the fight happened in like a month ago or this week or whatever, he's not getting that decision. But yeah, it is what it is. But it was like plus 350, man. It was annoying, bro.
There's no worse feeling than watching a fight back like that, knowing you had the right side, knowing you had all that value, probably should have won, and then watching it go to a split decision and losing again. I hate that feeling. So I get it, man. I get it. And it's weird because, you know, just to touch on that for a second, the judging criteria does seem to shift fluidly every couple of months. And I always feel like I'm behind it. Right? Like I see them score a couple fights where it's damage instead of control. And so I go, okay, make a note of that. And I'll lean more towards damage in the next fight that I bet. And then it's like they swap back to control. They're like, I don't know. I'm too slow on the pivot for those things. The judges always seem to be moving the field goal posts on me, and I can't quite catch up to them on what they want to see. But anyway, so close, tough fight. Could have taken the L there. They obviously like the guy. They're obviously trying to move him in the right direction. And Randy Brown has become a gatekeeper of sorts at this weight class. 35 years old, and he's coming off a huge win over Nick Dalby, where he looked absolutely phenomenal. I believe the first guy to officially finish Nick Dalby. I know there was the no contest situation with Jesse Ronson a long time ago, but the first guy to actually get the damn thing done. And what's crazy is he could be on a 5-fight win streak, man. I bet on Brian Battle, and that split decision, I can promise you guys, we lost. Like Brian Battle, I feel like a big piece of that bet, man, a big piece of that bet for me was I said the UFC likes this kid. Like that he's an Ultimate Fighter winner. He's exciting. He talks on the mic. He's a little weird. Like the UFC likes Brian Battle. Part of my bet was literally, if it's close, I think they'll give it to Battle. It was close, but it was clear. I had a losing ticket in my hand, man. I thought Randy Brown won that fight. I could not believe I got the decision nod that night. And now Brian Battle is off, knocking dudes out in dirty boxing instead. Like he's not even in the UFC anymore. So I almost feel like the UFC is putting Randy in an I'm sorry, my bad type of situation here. Obviously, Bonfim is the guy that they want to win, but this is a very winnable fight for Brian Battle. We know Bonfim can get hurt. We know Bonfim can crack. We know Randy Brown can wrestle. I do worry about the sub. I will say that because Randy Brown has been taken down a couple of times. He has been submitted twice already before. The deeper this fight goes, the more it favors Randy Brown, in my opinion. So it's one of those get out of round one spots for me. If Randy Brown gets out of round one, I'm probably jumping in live. I think that's the way I'll handle this fight is like pre-flop. I'll take the coward's way out and I'll pick Gabriel Bonfim to win the fight, but I'm not laying chalk on him. And I'll watch very, very closely. Because we've been doing real well with these live bets lately, guys. If your opponent starts to slow down, starts to tire, can't get the wrestling going. Hell, if Bonfim gets on Randy Brown on the bottom or on the mat and isn't able to find his way to the sub and they get back up to the feet, that's when I want in. That's what you got your best shot. You took your swing. You didn't get your tap. And now you're going to get your ass beat. Like that's how I feel the fight plays out. So if Bonfim doesn't get an early sub, I want a live bet on Randy Brown.
Yeah, I don't mind that angle. I've posted Randy Brown as my free bet of the week on Twitter. I think you decide here. And you've mentioned that Brian Battle fight. I was on Randy Brown plus 195 on that fight, bro. So
Oof.
I mean, watching back those guys' tapes, I'm like, yeah, I got robbed recently on both, but it didn't affect my capping because I just go at how they match up. But yeah, I think he should be on a 5-fight winning streak, and I think that's probably why he's getting that main event spot. And Bonfim should have lost his last fight, and he got it. But yeah, the way I see it is, I think both of the Bonfim brothers, honestly, like I don't want to shit on them too much because I think that their skill, I think Gabriel Bonfim, I think his grappling, his jiu-jitsu, his submission skills is really elite. And I think his boxing is decent, wrestling is decent, and this other Bonfim, I think his boxing is really slick. But when the things are not going their way, Clint, I think they're gonna either slow down, gas out, quit, find the door, all those type of shit. And I've seen that against Nick Dalby for this Bonfim brothers, and I've seen that against this other Bonfim. I saw that a lot of times. I think this Bonfim is better because his grappling is really good and he's a really good finisher, and his boxing is not bad at all. But what I've noticed is he has a really good jab and he uses it for almost everything on the feet. That's what he used. And one of the reasons I bet Wonderboy was a similar reason to what I'm going to give you is Wonderboy, nobody outstrike him, right? And nobody him because of his stance. So I was like, on the feet, Bonfim is not going to have an easy time landing the jab like he usually does. Mm-hmm. And Wonderboy's going to outstrike him. But then I'm like, yeah, there's danger in round one. He could get submitted in round one. But if he doesn't, then I think in round 2 and 3, he's going to win the fight. And he hurt him bad. And I think it was in round 3, right? Or round 2, I'm not sure. Yeah, it was round 2, I think. He hurt him bad with a head kick, and then he didn't finish him. So Bonfim shown some heart in that fight, but also Wonderboy is not the type of guy that's going to go at you if he hurt you. He's 42 years old as well. It's not prime Wonderboy. And yeah, I think the takedown defense of Wonderboy is kind of similar to Rude Boy. Like, he can be taken down. His grappling is not the best. So yeah, I have concerns. I think Randy Brown chin sometimes is kind of weird at times. So yeah, you could get cracked here. He could get taken down early. He could be submitted. I think that's a possibility. But if he doesn't, if the fight go past 6-7 minutes, it's a 5-round fight. And I think Gabriel Bonfim in a 5-round fight, if he doesn't find a finish, terrible things will happen. I really do believe that. And the total, Clint, it's 2.5, and they're saying it's 55% implied to go over 2.5. So if they're right on that, there's no way I think he should be minus 200 in that scenario, because if he doesn't get that finish early in the first 7 minutes, not to say like Brown is a cardio machine, but he's way more proven in 15 minutes fight, and I trust him way more in 25 minutes fight. And to go back at the point I was making with the jab, here, I think Brown has a better jab. Brown is longer. So I don't think his jab is going to be as effective as it was against other fights. So I think Brown is the better striker of the two. He's longer, and he fought way, like, he's 16-4 in the UFC, 14-6 in the UFC at the end of the day. And his last loss is GADM. It was a club and sub. He got dropped and he got sub. It could happen. But then we talk about Salikhov, how good he's looking. He knocked him out in round 1. The Zaleski fight, some concerns about the back take and stuff like that. But I don't know if you recall, but when he defended the submission and he reversed him and go for that submission after, he didn't get him, but you can see the switch of momentum. I think something similar could happen here. And I think Randy Brown at distance is going to piece this guy up. So I think it's Randy here. I think plus 165 is kind of stupid. They're kind of telling you he's going to get submitted early. But yeah, I do agree it's a possibility. But if you think that's what's going to happen, just play Bonfim submission or play Bonfim round 1 prop. I think that's a good look on his side. That's how he's going to cover his price tag. But if he doesn't get that, just play the under 2.5. It's better than the money line too as well. So yeah, the submission is plus 165. Round 1 is plus 350, and we're talking bet online. So you're going to get even better on commercial. Just bet that if you like his side. That's how he probably win and cover his price. But I don't think that's going to be easy to do. I don't think Randy Brown is just going to get submitted right away. Personally, I think he's good enough to survive. And if I think he's good enough to survive, like the bookies are thinking with this total at 2.5, I think that he's going to win the fight. So yes, I do agree that the live bet is probably better because it's less risky. But then what happened if Randy Brown defend the first 2 takedowns and he can't, like Bonfim can get him down and you win round 1? Maybe you're not going to have opportunity to go live. And I don't really live bet, but if you do, I do think the round 1 live bet after 1-1 could be a good angle because that's probably the most danger for Brown here.
So I always say live bet after round 1, but these are not hard and fast rules. I bet when I see what I want to see. You know what I mean? So I will try to get a better number. If he stuffs 1 or 2 takedowns and it's 2 minutes in, I'll jump. I'm ready to dive in as soon as I get the opportunity to. But that's just kind of the way I'm approaching it. I think you and I see this fight very, very similarly. And these are the worst fights to bet on, in my opinion, pre-flop, because I hate these guys that they do nothing and then they win the fight. That it's like, if your whole game is that lightning strike finish, it's hard for me to lay chalk on you because you could be losing literally every second of the fight up until that moment. So I don't like betting guys like that. I really don't. For those of you guys who are curious, the anti-Bonfim parlay is like plus 570 this week. So if you want to go Taco Padilla and Randy Brown in a 2-legger, you can get almost 6-1 on that bad boy. Could be a hate watch type situation. I completely understand it. I get it. So maybe something to consider. I like a lot of dogs this week, man. I think the dogs are live. I think the chaos continues. This should be a really fun card. Thank you very much for breaking down this fight card with me here, Dravi. Really appreciate you, man. Appreciate your time. I know the chat does as well. If you have anything, man, if you've got any sponsors, if you've got a plug, if you've got a site, like whatever you want to throw out there where people can find more of you and they can support you, the floor is yours. Let the people know what's going on.
Hey, thanks for having me, Clint. Always a pleasure talking fight with you, man. So I hope we both crush it this week. So yeah, I mean, if you want my bets, my breakdowns, everything, it's on oddshoppers.com. You can DM me on Twitter if you want. Just, text me, Dravi. Tell me you're watching the podcast. I'll hook you up with something for your first month off my bets.
There you go.
It's $25 a month, but I'll give you a promo code on your first month. So I'm up 77 units this year, and that's after just losing a bad event last week. So yeah, we're gonna get it back this weekend. I feel good about this card. I already have, I think, 5 bets locked in, and I'm gonna probably lock some more after the show. So if you're interested, let me know. Hit me up on Twitter. And if you want my breakdowns and everything, I do content on YouTube, Beat the Line Broadcast. We're close to 1K subscriber. We're at 920. So if we can get that 1K subscriber before the end of the year, will be a big goal of us. It's me, Key3 Picks, and Pegasus Picks. We're going live like every Tuesday night, breaking fight downs, having fun. So tune in, subscribe to that channel. That's all I ask. So thanks for having me, Clint. It's a pleasure, bro.
Absolutely. Hey, you guys are all fight fans. Get over there and subscribe. That first 1K is always the hardest to get to, man. Everything else kind of flows after that. So hopefully you can pick up a couple of extra subs after jumping on here today. Shout out to your co-hosts as well. Thank you guys very much for listening and being here. Hey, tonight, I'm going to head on over back home, you guys. I'm going to go to Pub Sports Radio. I'm going to watch the second half of the Monday Night Football game with the boys over there. So live betting, shenanigans, chilling with the old family. So if you guys want something to do for the rest of the night, head on over there with me. Pub Sports Radio on YouTube. We're going to watch the rest of this football. I always call it fight, man, because we do MMA. I refer to everything as a fight. I was about to say, watch this football fight with me. So go watch that football game with me here. After halftime, I'll be jumping on that live stream. Thank you guys, of course, as always, for supporting and watching. Again, please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. And please click the links in the description below, you guys. Give Cloudbet a shot for me. That's the best way you can support me. Like I always say, you're going to gamble anyway. You might as well do it with my sponsor to help a brother out, right? Let's get this thing done. Let's have a good week. Let's stack some more chips so we can ease the pain of 2025 going into the end of the year here. Love you guys. We'll see you for the undefeated post-weigh-in show on Friday, the total takedown, and of course, Clint's hot props later in the week. And I hope you guys crush the game. I hope you guys crush life. We'll see you next time. Let's roll.